shack at. The bottles getting empty up the crack and we stacking chips. All of it's what I want. Plus money winners, that's what I'm on. You can say I'm gone. I prefer elevated pub sports radio. Time to get educated, get produced. Leave the juice letting loose with so much abuse that the bookies wanna call it truth. They getting slaughtered. Can't forget Jeff and low baggers in the chat. That's a lethal weapon 'cause we be pubbing.
What up, cappers, gamblers, punters, hustlers, low baggers? Happy Thursday, December 21st to all of you. Thank you for watching Betting with the Bag right here on Pub Sports Radio. There is our guy TJ in the house. Says the gift cashes, albeit not easily. Coming back today with another one and fading Washington. Columbus Blue Jackets money line. That was a tight one. I cashed it in overtime. I was very happy that you did. And this one I think is very interesting. You know, the Blue Jackets, if they hadn't scored 9 goals on the Sabres, I would be on them. I've been telling everybody on this show the Blue Jackets are bet on for, ever since they snapped. We were on them when they snapped their 9-game losing streak. Just that 9 goals. They've scored 18 goals in their past 3 games. Makes me a little uncomfortable. But I stared at it for hours, TJ. I stared at it for hours because you know how bad I want to fade the Capitals. So I like the look. Maybe I get there. And he's blessing us with a $5 dono, our guy, TJ. You're going to be seeing a lot more of TJ on this channel, on screen, on camera. There's Billy Friedrich in the house as those Kings killed me. NHL Kings 2 units, NBA Kings 3.5 units. Damn. I'm sorry to hear that. The Kings Celtics line was so messed up. It was so messed up. I thought that I went 1-2 in NBA and I stayed away from a lot. It was a minefield. I'm upset that I didn't move on the Clippers. That was the only one that really, and then the Bulls, of course, continue to pay out. But the market got me off of Sacramento, and it made no sense. It made no sense why there would be so many big bets on the Celtics. And, I had to stand back. I'm sorry to hear that, Billy. Sorry to hear that. We'll get that back for you today. Stacks play today. Pistons minus 103. Let's copy and paste that. Stacks. And we have a ton. We got to move quick. We have such a packed show. And don't forget, we have the Cappers Contest show at 3 p.m. Eastern, but we have so much work to do on this card. Let me get the Stacks play today set up. The Pistons. Let me make sure this is locked and loaded for us. Jazz at Pistons. Stacks play today is locked in. Justin McElvey, Andrew G, Serious Business in the house. There's Jay Peasy, Subhuman Gaucho, D Jenkins, Tori Coker, NJ Striker. Top shelf play, says my Miami Rockets money line made me eat. I'm happy that what do you mean Rockets money line? Did the Rockets come back and beat the Hawks? Wow. I was just so deep in the trenches last night. I thought they were in huge trouble. No, the Rockets lost 134-127. So you mean something else, I'm sure. I'm sure you mean something else. But Leonard Porsche Jr. in the house. Top Shelf says he's taking the Capitals. They're about to go on a streak. I don't think I want to fade them so badly. Loopy says terrible night. We'll get that fixed. I'm sorry that you guys. It was a tricky card yesterday. Slotty says after meeting up this summer, I knew that he'd convert me to a Habs fan. I want to fade the Wild. There's lots of teams I want to fade, and come on, Slotty. The Habs are playing their best hockey, aren't they? I mean, that was an impressive win against Winnipeg. We saw what kind of hockey team Winnipeg is against Detroit last night. Rude Boy in the house. We got Von Polo on the other side with the Jazz money line. Kent Davies, the nuke worker. Major Tom. Kent Davies says New York, Washington, first period under 1.5 last night. It was a winning night for me last night, 5-3. It was a tricky card, man. In NBA, I went 1-2. That Charlotte, Indiana under 248 minus 109 lost. They didn't score for the first 2 minutes of the game. I got pretty confident. Then they scored 9 points in about 20 seconds. After the first quarter, after the first 8 minutes, I was like, oh, I'm going to cash this. But 76ers -3 was easy. Raptors +4 was a mistake. College basketball rolling with the thought that North Carolina would just roll. I mean, you combined Cabby's breakdown, and he wasn't even with the angle of Montross's death. So you combine those two together, and that was, very, very, very easy. So we got that. Cal State Fullerton first half was horrific. Absolutely terrible. Jose, I can tell you, sorry, Jose asking about the Cappers contest record. Just add 5 losses to it. Just do that. I'll make it very easy for you. Just add 5 losses. So look, we made it through 15 weeks where the Cappers contest show mattered. Now, the show still matters because of our own Cappers contest. But we can let go of the Circa contest. So just tack on 5 losses, Jose, for that one. So North Carolina cash, and Cal State Fullerton first half was atrocious, and it was a mistake. So 2-1 there, and then 2-0 in the NHL, and should have been 3-0. I got cold feet on the Jets. There's the market moves have been wrong in NHL, very wrong lately. I got cold feet with the Jets, but because of the cold feet, I decided to double up on the Seattle Kings under. So the first period under 1.5 plus 110. When puck dropped, that was minus 110. So, and then the under 6, when it was puck drop, it was 5.5. So that was all gravy. 2-0 plus 2.1 units in NHL. So we end up 5-3. 5-3. We'll take it. What was that? So in the end, unit wise, that was plus 1.8 units. So we'll take it. All right, so we have a packed show here. It's going to be extremely fun. Thank you guys so much for joining us. We start off the hop with NHL with Mr. Gogster. Then for our Thursday night NFL breakdown, it won't just be Mr. Gogster. It'll be Mr. Gogster and the Big Ragoo. The three of us will be capping the NFL Thursday nighter together. Then Gogster, we will bid adieu to Mr. Gogster, and with our guy, the Big Ragoo, we're going to cap tonight's bowl game, tomorrow night's bowl game, and he wants to cap James Madison and Air Force on Saturday. Then Dave Rogers joins us. Dave Rogers has 3 bets he's making in college basketball. He is focusing here on Quinnipiac Lafayette. That game starts at 2 p.m. Eastern. So, Jose, just to keep note, when we do our NCAA cut, it will start after that game. The next game for him, and I'll do an intro for it, will be 7 p.m. Eastern, Buffalo Bulls, Richmond Spiders. And then Dave Rogers closes up shop with Hofstra, UNLV. Then Daby Cab, fresh off a 4-0 night. 4-0, his record looking spectacular. He only has 1 spot on the board. Wichita State, Kansas State. That's his only action. So 4 games will be capped in NCAA basketball, and then we'll roll into the full NBA card. And we have 3 NBA experts right now. I'd love to find room for Wham Bam 3000 and Billy Brisbane, and I hope to as the year goes on. But we have 3 going on right now, and they're running real nice. Now, LJ's record won't show that, but he has been capping very nice and helping guide us to the cash. But Darryl right now, 13-9, 59.1% plus 3.28 units ROI plus 14.91% average line plus 100. So we're running nice. We are running very, very nice. There's Clint Starr, the diehard MMA podcast. Says no MMA for like 4 weeks. He's sad. Says he'll need us to carry him. Ended up 2023 up 83 units. Absolutely spectacular work. Slatsy45 says Velarde's been a cash machine since replacing Kyle Connor on the first line of Winnipeg. Yeah, he is the real deal here. There's DC Capper in the house. Joey Harb. Great to see all of you guys. Nutflush Allen, Pierce the Weather, Leonard Porsche Jr., Rodney M, Red Girl. Great to see all of you guys. It is time. Major Tom in the house. Brian Pacone. It's time to get to work. It's time to do just that and get that cash. So let's bring on your next guest. We will be traveling down to San Antonio together alongside the Nuke Worker, heading down to San Antonio on Wednesday for Pubba Palooza 3. He gained the nickname Raw Dog while he was in Costa Rica. You can connect the dots there. And I imagine he'll get up to trouble when he's in San Antonio, when he's not making money or slapping his own ass at the horse track, which we will be at on Sunday, which we've had great success at in our 2 stays there. 2 stays there. So please welcome from the only city dirtier than Rochester, New York City, Belleville, Ontario. Please welcome Mr. Gogster to the show. Gogster, how are you, my man?
Doing good today, Jim. Nice Thursday morning here in the old Bell Vegas. Ready to get after this hockey card. Juicy, 13 games, something like that. Last big slate before the end of the Christmas break. So ready to get after it, buddy.
Well, we got to move immediately. So let's do exactly that. Let's get started. We start at 7 p.m. Eastern. The Toronto Maple Leafs 16-7-6, 7-2-4 on the road at the Buffalo Sabres 13-17-3, 6-8-1 at home. Dan Kelly will be at this hockey game. He wants action in this hockey game. KeyBank Center in Buffalo, New York. I feel like I did slide over the fact that Clint is up 89 units.
I heard that.
Up too fast. I mean, that is spectacular work, Clint. I'm sitting here looking at it, and I'm just like, did I just say, oh, he's up 89 units? As if that's a normal thing. Unbelievable work, man. A huge, giant bounce back year. You deserved it and continue to deserve it. So spectacular work, man. We're all very proud watching you rock, man. All right, let's get back here. I've got Ilya Samsonov, Devin Levi listed.
Yeah.
Now, I want to send Dan Kelly action. I also want to send him winning action. And I found this game was pretty difficult. Toronto was extremely unlucky in that 5-2 loss at home to the Rangers on Tuesday. Pucks were bouncing in. It just didn't have any puck luck. 3 goals bounced off of skates, I should say, skates, and it was kind of a fluky loss. Austin Matthews is playing like he did 2 years ago when we thought maybe he was the best player in the league at some points. He's starting to play like that. He's certainly playing better than Connor McDavid this year, and they were unlucky, and I think that they roll here. The problem is the Sabres come in off that second straight loss and third loss in 4 games, 9-4 at home versus the Blue Jackets. And it's not like we don't see the Sabres ever step up. We watched them go into Vegas and beat Vegas. I know Vegas isn't playing at the level that we were accustomed to in the beginning of the year. Toronto power play 25.9%, penalty killing 78.2%. Buffalo power play just 14%, penalty killing 80.6%. So Slatsy says he over 7-1-2 the last 10 games in the Leafs Sabres. Let's discuss this line history here, because the first off is Toronto is very cheap. When the Leafs have been cheap like this, it's not helped me. I've fallen for the Chiefs when I've said this is too cheap on the Leafs. It's a negative ROI. They opened up at -158 at Pinnacle. They're down to -138. That's a huge move towards the Buffalo Sabres. And I wish the Sabres were coming in off of that win against Vegas. I'd be all over the Leafs. But losing 9-4, getting embarrassed. This total is at 7. Opened up at 6.5, -133 to the over. Lasted there for 2 hours before the juice became too much, and they just listed it at 7. This 7 is +107 to the over and -120 to the under. I don't remember a 7 being, so cheap to go under. That scares me. I hear Slatsy's angle scares me. Clint says I can't figure the Sabres out this season. I thought they'd be better. They get Skinner back though, right? We're going to talk about their injury, all of the injury issues for each team. But the market told us before the year started, if you were studying the futures market, and I spent all summer studying it, that the Kraken and the Sabres weren't going to be good this year. And I trusted the market on those. So I came in with the expectation that both these teams were not going to be good. And this was not the year not Seattle, always a goal away from the conference final, but this was not the year where the Sabres take it to the next level with Dahlin and Owen Power. Take it away for us here, Gogster. Leafs Sabres at KeyBank.
Yeah, I think I right now, guys, I tweeted out my action early already, Jim. So Eagle47_. You guys can see all the picks there. I've already tweeted out, guys. I got Toronto in a money line. Now, I'm a little nervous. Levy's coming off being pulled. It's going to be a tough spot for Levy right now. You brought up the fact Matthews, this Toronto team.
You got to call him Levi. We've gone too deep. Too deep here.
All right,
We've gone too deep into this. We got to call him.
All right, Levi. I'm calling him Levy.
Thank you,
Levi. Skinner, Greenway out. If they're going to get Skinner and Greenway back, that's going to definitely help this team. They also had Quinn was out for a while. Jack Quinn's back in the lineup now too. Wall, Reeves, Giordano. It's just the power play. Like, when are they going to figure out their power play, Jim? This Buffalo team. 12% at home, 10% the last 3 weeks. Toronto's PK has been a little bit poor too the last 3 weeks, 76%, but power play 30%, and then the penalty kill for Buffalo's at 70% last 3 weeks, 84% at home, which does help. I think the goals are going to happen here, guys. I've already tweeted out Toronto money line, so it's going to be in play. But Samsonov, Jim, we both know it. Speaking of Toronto guys, he's lost the job. He's seeing ghosts. He's got problems right now. He's 1-1-4 on the road, 891 save percentage. Both these goalies have sub 900 save percentages too. I have a hard time not seeing there being goals in this game coming off that 9-4 loss. I think Toronto's going to get it done in the end here, but it's going to be it's going to be a great hockey game for Dan. I think there's going to be some goals, though. I'd be surprised if it's not kind of a back and forth hockey game. You know, some goal props would be alive in this game, I think, too, Jim.
Well, TJ saying very, very fishy line shows his extreme value in his modeling, but when he has that much value, something is wrong. This is, I don't feel the want to step in front of these market moves. I have a little more in NHL, or maybe quite a bit more in NHL. In NBA, with what happened in the Kings Celtics spot, I was like, well, look, you just can't bet it. Mm-hmm. Or you take the Celtics, which I know some of you guys did, but there was just, it was too fishy. Here, if I really had conviction, and it's so hard not to after the unlucky bounces the Leafs have, but Sabres just got completely embarrassed, and we're going to have to, reach out. Well, maybe we'll do a little group chat with Dan Kelly and see what we can find for him, because I don't want to bet over sevens. I don't want.
I think this. Sorry, Jim, to cut you off. I think Buffalo's broken in a way right now. I think they're kind of a broken hockey team.
I said that last week before the Vegas game.
Yeah.
And then they beat Vegas.
Yeah, but I'm just looking at where's Tuck been all year? Tage Thompson. This team's just really underperforming. Dahlin, since he got that contract, he's been nowhere to be found. Really, they've been an underperforming team. Just like you've been saying at the beginning of the year. So in Toronto's. They are, I think, the best offensive team in the NHL right now. When it comes to scoring goals, you can't count this team out no matter what. So that's why the over, I think, is never it's tough to take an under, especially in this situation. I think Toronto does get it done. I do. Even though they're coming off those losses, I don't think I think Buffalo needs the break right now. I don't know.
Major Tom firing.
That's what Andrew's saying.
Bullets here. Okay, I'm just moving on. I've got your tweet out, so I'm gonna I'll copy and paste this because you are tying Toronto money line to another spot here on the board. And looking at your action, we do have one bet that we're both on, which I like seeing because I only have 3 bets at this point.
I think I know what it is. I think I'm just gonna guess right now. Can I take a guess right now, Jim?
Yeah.
Nashville money line.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I fucking knew it.
I think this record that the Flyers have is the perfect opportunity for gamblers.
I agree.
Okay, so we roll on. Gogster is locked in here with Toronto money line as part of a parlay with Florida. And look, Philly Eagle Flyers says if you like Sabres, go +1.5 over 5.5 same game parlay or first period full game draw. I mean that's an interesting way of handling it, Philly Eagle Flyer.
Yeah.
Let's roll. Next up,
guys in the chat are saying real deals on Buffalo, and our guy Brian, he's saying he thinks Buffalo's going to give a great effort, and they probably will. I think this Toronto team is just they're coming off the 5-2 loss. You can't count Toronto out no matter what. This is the best Toronto team I think we've seen, Jim. Offensive. I know you're not a Toronto fan, but me.
No, but we've just said that too often. How many times have we said that over the last 3 or 4 years?
I know, but it keeps getting better and better. Like right now,
but they don't show where they that you're supposed to show that in the win-loss column.
Just offensively right now. Defensively, they still suck, right? But offensively right now, this team is they're lethal. And the addition right now, Gregor, the guy they got from San Jose, I believe, their production it's really starting to show. So
And
I think Toronto will get it done.
we do think that Greenway and Skinner will be back in the lineup tonight, and it'll be just Gergensen's out. Let's roll on. Next up for us, 7 p.m. Eastern. We got to speed this up a little bit. 7 p.m. Eastern, Vegas Golden Knights, 21-7-5, 9-4-3 on the road at the Tampa Bay Lightning, 15-13-5, but 9-3-3 at home. We're at Amalie Arena in Tampa, Florida. Did Jiri Patera get confirmed? Is he going to be in between the pipes here for Vegas?
I still got Thompson there. I'll take a quick look, though.
Okay.
Jim.
If it's Logan Thompson, that's fine. That would make more sense. Andre Vasilevsky, 6'5", 2.83 goals against average, 904, save percentage, 1 shot. At times he looks spectacular. At times he looks vulnerable. We expect to know what he's going to look like near the end of the year, and that's spectacular. Lightning coming off their second loss in 3 games, 6-3 at the Hurricanes on Tuesday. And, excuse me. Sorry, that's the Knights. My bad. Sorry, I was writing too quickly. The Golden Knights coming off their second loss in 3 games, 6-3 at the Hurricanes on Tuesday, and it was ugly. They were down 6-1. They looked really bad. The Lightning coming off their second win in 3 games, 6-1 at home over the Blues on Tuesday. So you have to think that Vegas is going to, bounce back here after a really horrible performance, but they just haven't looked very good of late. And when you look at the injuries, because right now Logan Thompson is day-to-day, Aiden Hill I expect to be out for at least a week. Shea Theodore has been out for a long time. Martinez has come back. Keegan Colasar out right now. There's really no excuse for Vegas other than Shea Theodore being their best defenseman being out. But we've seen teams handle that. This is a spot where I do kind of like Vegas. From a total perspective, it's at 6.5. Open up at -114 to the under. Now it's -111 to the under. And on the money line here, you have Vegas at +102. They opened up at +108. I think I could be talked into the Vegas bounce back here. Sergachev will not be in the lineup, and he's struggled this year. What are your thoughts on this one? And Kent Davies says 91% of cash is on the Lightning. I don't look at that, but if that was, I try not to in NHL get these market moves here, but this is a pick'em, so I would be interested in looking at what the pick'em is. 31% of the tickets and 90% of the cash on the Lightning, and the line not moving. That's interesting. Take it away for us here, Gogster, Golden Knights, Tampa Bay Lightning.
Yeah, your goalie situation there, Jim, that is correct there. It looks like Thompson's day-to-day now, so they got problems. Hill's day-to-day, Thompson's day-to-day. They've recalled Isaiah Seville, butchering his name, guys, for Henderson, AHL goalie. But Patera, he hasn't had many starts, Jim, Jiri Patera. To be honest, I think this is a spot where I think Vasilevsky is starting to come into form right now. He's going to be at home right now. They're still at home. Yeah, they're missing Sergachev. Their penalty kill, too, only 66%, 76% in the last 3 weeks for both these teams. So penalty kills are quite poor, where it makes me think there's going to be some goals in this game. And I'd rather have, Vezina winner Vasilevsky than Patera here. Both these offenses can hum. But like I said, Vasilevsky, guys, he's playing really good hockey. Colasar, he's an important player, I think, Jim, real sandpaper guy, right, for this team. So if he's going to be out, that does hurt their forechecking against this Tampa Bay team, which you're really going to need. So I had Tampa Bay as a lean, but man, guys, I really want to take Tampa Bay money line. I think this is, even without Sergachev, it's going to come down to the goaltenders, I think, when these two teams are this close, and you got your third string goalie going for Vegas. So you know what? I'm going to have an addition here. I'm taking Tampa Bay, Jim, money line, -115. If I lose, I lose, but I got to take Tampa here.
Yeah, I'm very interested in the Knights.
I heard you, yeah.
I just, they looked so awful in their last game, and the Lightning coming off that 6-1 win at home. I mean, I'm not expecting them to be fat and happy, but I think that it's a goaltending factory in Vegas and Henderson for some reason that I can't understand. And Patera has some pretty good numbers. He was a late draft pick, but he knows this is the opportunity of a lifetime to go up against the generation's best goaltender. And he's been solid in Henderson. He's been solid in his opportunities here with Vegas. He's never lost a start in his NHL career. He's had 3 starts, and he's been in 4 games. So, I think that the Knights are are very live here. I also think this will have a playoff type feel to it. The Lightning, were the perennial powerhouses in the NHL, and now Vegas coming in as the defending Stanley Cup champions. I think this will have especially after the Lightning looking so bad in their last start. I feel like the under is going to be in play here if we're going to get playoff type action here. This was not really on my radar here. What was leaning you to the over? Just the penalty killing issues that the teams have had of recent?
Yeah, the special teams. Yeah, that's pretty much it. Really good power plays and quite poor penalty kills. No Sergachev. So they're going to need a good game from Vasilevsky, and I'm banking on that. And then this Vegas team has been scoring quite a bit on the road too, Jim. So I feel I would go stronger on Tampa Bay here. The total not as strong on. It was just more so the special teams, and Petura there. We'll see what he can do, but I think this is a tough spot for the kid. I think here in Tampa. So
okay, I'm going to be on the other side here. We have TJ making a really good point. As soon as Petura is confirmed and announced, not only will we get a better number on the night, so it's probably good you getting in on the Lightning now, Gogster, but we'll also get a better number on the under 6.5. I mean, it was Thompson that allowed those 6 goals. Again, Petura came in and looked really good. This is just the opportunity of a lifetime for a 6th-round draft pick who's earned this opportunity. So, I think going up against Vasilevsky for this, 24-year-old from the Czech Republic will be the best. I'm going to be moving on these 2 spots now, but I'm with TJ. I agree. I think we wait. BT in the house. Great to see you. And we have an addition from Mr. Gogster. That is the Tampa Bay Lightning right now. -115. I will line shop. I'm sure we could find better than that. What is Pinnacle offering right now?
-110. I found there too, Jim. -110. But quickly, just about the goaltender, he has looked. He's faced 30 plus pucks in the last 4 games in the AHL. So his workload, he can handle the workload, but he has allowed 3+ goals in 6 of his last 7 games or 5 of his last 6 in the AHL. Good start against Bakersfield, but. Obviously you got a much better defense in the Golden Knights and the structure they have. So yeah, the under kind of makes sense more. I'm kind of
issues with the penalty killing are just of recent, because Vegas has one of the best penalty killing units in the NHL at 83.2%, and Tampa Bay's right behind them at 79.6%. And if you think of Tampa Bay's 30.2% power play, I mean, we know that Kuch is the weapon, but having Sergachev off the ice does hurt them a little bit in that regard. So interesting breakdown. That I did not expect to have that on the card here, but I think I'm going to like both of these spots, the Knights and the under 6.
I like your under. I'll go head to head with Tampa Bay. Let's go, Jimmy.
All right, my friend. Let's move on. 7 p.m. Eastern. St. Louis Blues 15-15-1, 6-10-1 on the road at the Florida Panthers 18-11-2, 9-4-0 at home. Amerant Bank Arena in Sunrise, Florida. Jordan Binnington versus Sergei Bobrovsky in net was listed. Let me know if that's wrong. Binnington is falling off quickly. Mm-hmm. And I imagine that he was in net in that 6-1 loss that we just saw. Was it Binnington in net? It wasn't. Because if it was, I don't think he's in net again here.
It was Binner. It was Binner. Yeah, it was Tuesday's show with Pete. It was Binner.
But Hofer is not being good. This is a real problem, much love to you, Nate Dogg 420, my friend. Billy Friedrich saying yes, it was Binnington. This is a problem. So I imagine that Hofer will be in net. St. Louis power play is at 10%. It's come up since that 4.6 and the 6.2s, and it'll continue to come up. D. Jenkins thinking that Hofer will be in. Penalty killing at 79.3%. Florida power play 18.2%. Penalty killing 82.4%. Bobrovsky 14-8-1, 2.49 goals against average, 9-11 save percentage, 2 shutouts. I mean, a year and a half ago, we didn't think that he was capable of even these numbers as a starting goaltender in the NHL. The Panthers come in off their 3rd loss in 4 games, 3-1 at the Flames on Monday. That concluded a 5-game road trip that saw them go 2-3. But those 3 losses, Seattle, LA, and Calgary, they scored 1 goal combined. 1 goal. And then their wins came over Columbus and Edmonton, where they looked really good. It was a real Jekyll and Hyde showing from them. Let's take a look at the line history here for this one. Our total is at 6.5. It's minus 114 to the under. It opened, now minus 119 to the under. So it's been a 5-cent move towards the under. Mm-hmm. And when we get to the money line here, we have Florida at minus 198. They opened up at minus 207. They're now minus 198. I wish I could find a way to get on the Blues, but it's not like the Panthers are playing well. So this is a real difficult game. I think I'll just stay off of it. What's your plan here? Oh, this is part of your money line parlay with the Leafs. Take it away, Gogster.
Yeah, I'm taking the Panthers here. I know there is an illness to Lundell, but until St. Louis proves to me they can start winning on the road and against a team like the Panthers coming off a poor road trip, I'll think they'll be ready for this game, I think, Jim. They're, like you said, goaltender issues too for St. Louis. They beat me. I don't think St. Louis has that in them right now. Power play is slightly better for Florida. Tie that money line together, guys. Toronto and Florida, you're going to get plus 158. A lot of plus money on the card today, Jim. I think I only got one, which was the addition from Tampa. But yeah, I'm just not going to I'm not trying not to overthink things as much in the NHL. And this time of the year, it's almost Christmas break. Teams like the Blues, I think they're ready to just ready for the new year. And I'm going to take Florida here, guys. Bounce back. Not so much bounce back. I just think they're the better hockey team, short and, just to make it easy on you guys. They only got the one issue with Lundell. Healthy hockey team, better offense, better goaltending, better defense, you name it. So give me the Florida Panthers, guys. Moneyline parlay with Toronto.
This Blues record is better than their record on this date when they won the Stanley Cup. Just wow. Wow. All right, I'm off of this spot here, off of it. But we have the Panthers Leafs moneyline parlay for Gogster. Top Shelf Play says Panthers smash spot. It's possible. And Nate Dogg, Buffalo definitely has other problems, but it looks like they'll only have one injury going into this game. Looks like both Skinner and Greenway will be back tonight, but that's not being officially confirmed, but that's the expectation. Let's move on to a spot where Gogster and I are together on it. 7 p.m. Eastern, Nashville Predators 18-14-0, 7-7-0 on the road. Philadelphia Flyers 18-10-3, 8-6-1 at home. Wells Fargo Center in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. This Predators team is going to give you tons of value. Might not win tonight. That's gambling, but they're going to offer you a ton of value, and they have been for the last week and a half, 2 weeks. They're completely healthy for the first time all year. They have real veteran leadership in McDonough. McDonough being back, I didn't realize that he was capable of playing 23 or 24 minutes a game, but Shen to me is so valuable with his toughness and the way he sticks up for his teammates and the way he can step up defensively. We have Saros against Hart, but Hart's sick, and we've heard from, I think it was Billy saying Urson confirmed for the Flyers. So Hart has now been sick for a while. Nashville power play at 20.9%, penalty killing 76.9%. Philadelphia power play 10.2%, penalty killing 85.6%. I look long and hard at this under 5.5 at plus 105. And with the goal scoring going up in the NHL this year, I really haven't bet many 5.5s. I prefer 6s, so the push is available with the 6 goals, but I looked really long and hard. Nashville had their 4-game winning streak snapped in a 5-2 home loss versus Vancouver on Tuesday night. Perfect. Philadelphia comes in off their 3rd straight win, 3-2 in overtime at the Devils on Tuesday night. Perfect. It's just that's exactly the situation that I want to have. This line moved blatantly too. I got in at a real nice number at plus 108. Last I looked, it was minus 105 at Bet 365. Right now, over at Pinnacle, we have
this will be a big deal.
The Preds at minus 102. So this didn't move to minus 101 until 10:30 this morning, and we're talking an hour ago.
So I didn't bet that much on it.
No, not me, but someone did. Or just the quantity of action as well. Yeah. So I'm on the Preds, and I got a beautiful line over at Penny at plus 108. And I do think that they're a bet-on hockey team. And look, there's mistakes that happen to me throughout a season in a sport. And that's when I've made a statement or I have a feeling about a certain hockey team, and I have a plan of what I'm going to do, and it's wrong, and I don't get off of it. And maybe this will end up being wrong. But I do not think the Flyers are as good as their record indicates. I think the market is overvaluing them. I want to fade them. Now, I do want to plus money spot to do it now that they're playing so well. That's not going to happen all the time. That's fine. But I'm going to fade Philadelphia as much as possible here. This total 5.5, it's plus 105 to the under. And I do find it appealing. The problem is if I had to be more aware, of course, this line didn't come out, at Pinnacle, but it came out at Bet365. Whoa. I could have done that, but it came out at Pinnacle at 3:12 a.m.
Look what Ronnie just dropped.
Spreadsheet play day Philadelphia. Yeah, I get it. Their spreadsheet play day in their numbers indicate that they are a bet on hockey team, and maybe they are. There's my guy Christian Rivas in the house. What up, Christian? Thank you so much for the $9.99 dono. What a guy! Blessing our action. Shout out to Christian Rivas. What a guy. Yeah, look, I get it. Ron. Why it's so much fun to cap with Ron is because all of his action is completely based on numbers, and I know he watches these games too. For me, it's situational is so important to me. The psychology behind the situations, and I watch all these games, and it sucks being on the other side of Ron Crawford, but here we are. Take it away for us here, Gogster. Predators, Flyers. And
well, if you guys saw that game against Vancouver, Jim, Saros got pulled in the first period, and he was pissed. He threw his blocker stick or something like a javelin stick. He was not too happy. He's going to get the start again here, so expect a really good start from their number one goalie. You got the number 2 in Erson going for Philly. Another thing, they got a back-to-back tomorrow, the Philadelphia Flyers, so they're going to be at Detroit. So take that for what it is. And another thing, the crazy stat I was looking up here for back-to-backs. Listen to this. This is crazy, Jim. Philly had 4 back-to-backs in November. They've had to play 4 back-to-backs in the month of November, and then they're going to have another one coming up here. Yeah, they've had some, 3 weeks where they haven't had a back-to-back, but just tough scheduling spot. The league's kind of put Philadelphia in there. They'll be their 5th in 2 months. But Saros here, yeah, I expect them to have a good start. At first, I had the unders, but right before the show, Jim, I made a quick switch and threw some money down. Plus 100 I got on Nashville here. Healthy team. And, the pull, Saros being pulled, I'd be highly surprised if he has another really bad game. And I'm talking pissed off. Saros was too. So expect him to have a really good start here. Philadelphia's power play. What do we got? 11% last 3 weeks, 13% at home. And last 3 weeks, I like what I'm seeing from Nashville coming off that loss, bounce back spot. Situational, and especially with the goaltending here too. I'm taking Preds Nashville plus 100 with you, Jimmy.
I also like the under. I guess I'd find the Philadelphia team total under more appealing.
Yep.
And if you want to roll with spreadsheet, look, I don't blame you. He's a hell of a capper, and you'll get a much better price now. It's minus 108 for the Flyers. Gogster and I are on the other side of spreadsheet, and this is part of the fun. Being on the other side of colleagues that you respect, it adds an extra level of intensity. Let's move on. Next up.
Sorry, Jim. I just want to know what the team total under is on Philly here. So I'm just looking quickly at Pinnacle, 2.5 under. Look at this, Jim. Is that team total OT included plus 136?
Jesus.
Under 2.5 for Philadelphia. Are you kidding me?
Wow.
That's tough not to take. And then 2-1, if Philly wins 2-1, we still cash that ticket too. And you're getting plus 136.
Jesus, I did not expect to see that number.
All right, well, I guess I got to throw that on there at plus 136 Pinnacle. I'm doing a double up spot here. I'll take Philadelphia at that number. Yeah, I'll take that team total under, guys. 2.5 plus 136. Sorry, Jim.
Gogster on the Flyers team total under. I gotta move on that too. I won't do that right this second, but good God, that seems like a nice spot. Philly Bully says Flyers win 3-2 in overtime. Let's move on. 7 p.m. Eastern, Carolina Hurricanes 17-12-3, 8-10-0 on the road at the Pittsburgh Penguins 14-13-3, 7-6-1 at home at PPG Paints Arena in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. Kochetkov is listed 7-6-2, 2.65 goals against average, 895 save percentage, 1 shutout. Fiery Russian.
Yes.
He's a pretty wild guy back there. He adds some color to the league that it desperately needs. And then Billy Friedrich says Alex Nedeljkovic confirmed versus former team. You once had high hopes for Alex Nedeljkovic. Does this excite you? Does this excite you that he's
once upon a time I did, yeah.
Okay, so Nedeljkovic against his former team. That adds another layer of intrigue here. Carolina snapped their 2-game losing streak with a 6-3 win at home over Vegas on Tuesday night. Penn's coming off their third win in 4 games, 4-3 at home over the Wild on Monday. This Penn's power play up to 14.4%. And Justin McKelvey be at the game. Look at that. Oh, that would be a fun game. I've only been to PPG once in my life. It was really, really fun. Penn's won 3-0 over the Kings, and Marc-Andre Fleury with the shutout.
Just a good hockey town, good old Pittsburgh. Good sports town, good old Pittsburgh.
Oh, it's a great city. So here we go. Let's take a look at the line history. Here we have Pittsburgh at plus 123. So there's been a big move to the Hurricanes, opening up at minus 123, now minus 137. 14-cent move towards these Hurricanes. From a total side of things, let's move over here. From a total side of things, we have it's sitting at 6.5 minus 111 to the under. This opened up at 6 and it lasted there for a minute. Wow. Take it away for us here, Gogster. Hurricanes, Penguins.
I don't know about I don't know about that over. Carolina money line guys in the under 7.5. I got that at plus 135. Ned's starting, Jim, but he is 3-1 at home. Small sample size, 933 save percentage, 2.25 goals against. He's actually strong numbers at home. Last 5 games, 2-1-1, 9-11, 2-9-5. Hasn't been playing too bad of hockey. Now they're just the Minnesota or Pittsburgh team seems, I don't know if they're broken too, but they just can't string wins together. Carolina, they're finally healthy, guys. This team's been really banged up. And then when it comes to special teams, Jim, last 3 weeks, this is the best team special teams. 30% power play, 94% penalty kill. That's just you can't ask for anything better than that. Brandon Moore's finally got this team playing good hockey again. So I think Carolina, they have enough in the tank going up against a team in Pittsburgh who I think they need the break too. See what Ned can do against his former team, but you can't tell me they don't know this goalie, right, Jim? So I'll take Carolina, and I'm taking the under 7.5. I don't think it's going to get too up there with the goals, especially maybe even a Pittsburgh team total under 2.5 or 3. I don't mind that either.
Carolina money line, the under 7.5 for Mr. Gogster. I do not find this appealing here. Canes coming off dominating the Stanley Cup champions at home, going up against a Penguins team that, would not make the playoffs if the season ended tonight, again with a goaltender that, despises the opposition. It's just, I'm going to pass on this one, but I will cheer you on. Let's move on. Next up, 7 p.m. Eastern. And here we go. This is from our guy, TJ. We have gift number 2. Cashed with the Caps in overtime last night, and he's now fading the Caps here, which is what I would love to do. Look, I would love to do this, but the fact that the Jackets put up 9 goals and the Russians did exactly what I've been saying they are capable of doing here. Marchenko with the natural hattie. I was thinking natural hat trick should be in 1 period, though, but whatever. We'll let that go. I just feel funny backing them here because the one thing that you're going to get from the Capitals is professionalism. And I just, the Jackets have scored 18 goals in their last 3 games. And so, yeah, I mean, I think Columbus is extremely live here. Yeah. And my only hesitation is this huge outs, scoring 9 goals and feeling good about themselves. This total under 6 plus 104 to the under. And from a money line standpoint, we have Columbus, minus 101 right now. They opened up at plus 103. The first move was towards the Capitals. Columbus got up to plus 108, which I don't understand. That was at 9:30 this morning. But the gift here is on the Blue Jackets, and it makes sense. TJ says there is a warning here. Washington is 5-0 in back-to-back situations this year. But TJ does not see scoring 9 goals as a negative. Interesting. Okay. So TJ likes when backing teams after extremely dominant performances, which surprised me a little, but, there's always going to be autonomy in this game that we play. So take it away for us here, Gogster, Washington, Columbus.
Yeah, it's tough taking it. See, these are 2 opposite teams, guys. Columbus, they love to score, and Washington's the complete opposite. They're an under team. They don't score much defensively, pretty good structure. Lindgren's going to be going. I don't mind this guy, Jim Lindgren, Charlie Lindgren. Saw him a lot in Belleville. 2-1-1, 915 save percentage on the road, 251 goals against. Noah Oshie, Backstrom, Milano, looks like right for the Capitals. Then Laine Jenner, Boquist, Svierson and Roslovich, they're going to be out too. I have a hard time seeing this game not kind of being a lower scoring game. It's just who's going to be in net for the Blue Jackets too. Merzlikins, he's off an illness. I don't know if he is going to be in net or not. I'm taking first period under plus 112. I think we're going to see back-to-back game from the Capitals. It's going to be I don't see this game kind of being a back and forth fast. I just see this kind of being like a slower. I know my breakdown's kind of shit on this game, but I see this kind of being a slower game here. Merzlikins, I don't know what you're going to get from a full 60 minutes just coming off that illness, though he does have really good numbers at home. I got to give you guys that. Capitals, good point from TJ, how good they are off back-to-backs. They went to overtime too last night. I think it's going to be a lower scoring game. I'm comfortable taking the first period under 1.5 plus 112. Full game, not as much, but yeah.
All right. And you've locked that in already?
Yeah, I've already bet it too.
Under 1.5 plus 112. Shout out to our guy Gavin Henry in the house. Yep. Gavin Henry, horse trainer, thoroughbred trainer in Jamaica. Caymanias Park, man. Shout out to Gavin Henry. We've missed you, man. We bring you up in our horse racing shows. It's been too long. He was a big part of our pandemic capping. We miss you, man. Respect.
Yeah, the Jamaican horse track he used to go to all the time. Yeah.
Oh yeah, well, he works there. He's a trainer. Those are his horses down there. He wants us to do a big trip down in Jamaica, which sounds real nice to me. And Strategic Investments wants us to do the big trip to the Dominican. I love it. Okay, locked in. Gogster is on that first period under. Philly Bullies giving us a final score of Capitals 5-3. Philly Eagle Flyer has Jackets 4-2. And we roll on. Next up for us, 7:30 p.m. Eastern. Edmonton Oilers 13-15-1, 4-9-0 on the road. New Jersey Devils 16-12-2, 6-7-2 at home. Prudential Center in Newark, New Jersey. Calvin Pickard, I have listed. I'm not sure if he will be in against Vitek. He's in against Vitek Vanacek. Vanacek 11-5-1, 3.30 goals against average 883.
I got Schmid. I got Schmid's going too.
Okay, can you give us Schmid's numbers when you break it down? Edmonton power play at 27.3%, penalty killing 78.3%. Devils power play 31.3%, 76.5% penalty killing. Oilers coming off their third straight loss, 3-1 at the Islanders on Tuesday. The Devils coming off their second straight loss, 3-2 at home in overtime on Tuesday. I've got a couple things I want to say about this spot here, but first we'll go into the line history. This is sitting here with the Oilers at minus 102, which is wild because this morning I got them at plus 105, but they did open at plus 102 and immediately went to minus 108. I think this is a great bounce back spot for the Oilers. From a total perspective here, we are sitting at a 7, and this is the lowest VIG to an under 7 that we've seen all year. We just talked about the minus 120 in the Buffalo Toronto. This is minus 110 to the under. This got to minus 105 to the under at 9 this morning, which is just absolutely wild. Absolutely wild. So Deshaun G saying over. Philly Bully says Oilers are trash. Andrew D says Oilers are leaking oil. So here's a couple things. One, the New Jersey Devils are going to now do exactly what the Tampa Bay Lightning did when they won the Stanley Cup. They're taking a very important piece of their team on LITR. He will be available to play, with a month left in the season. He won't come back until the playoffs. This is Dougie Hamilton. They're going to save now $9 million. Yeah. The Devils will now have $9 million extra dollars to build at the trade deadline. That's an enormous amount of money. When the Lightning did this, they used all that extra money. They bought at the deadline. Kucherov came back, and they won the Stanley Cup. I think that you should move, and I plan to do this today, on New Jersey Devils futures. Now, if you think they're going to be worse, they're going to get worse here, that's a possibility. And I like the Oilers here, so why would I take the Devils futures tonight? But you have to time out right when to get your New Jersey Devils futures, because they've just been awarded $9 million extra dollars, which you could say is unfair and it's bullshit and all that stuff. And we just watched the Lightning cheat the system and win the Stanley Cup with this exact same situation. So that's just something I really want you guys to keep in mind here. When are you going to get in on the Devils futures? Because $9 million at the trade deadline, I mean, when a $9 million contract at the trade deadline costs you $1.5 million, imagine how much you can add to your team. Take it away for us here, Gogster, Oilers, Devils.
So about that, Jim, I think they need a goalie still. I'm just looking here, like with the Devils. Yeah, if Vanacek and Schmid take them far, so be it. But I don't think that's going to happen. I'm just looking like Carter Hart. Do they maybe pick him up because he's a free agent next year? But that could maybe be I think they need a goalie. If they can get a good goalie, then I do agree. I think this is the team, especially when they get back. It's a great point you brought up with Hamilton. I just think they need a good goalie, though, behind the pipes, similar to Edmonton, even though they got Skinner. I don't know how far Skinner can take him. You got Picard and Schmid going here against two offenses that are just probably the two offenses next to the Leafs. I was saying these guys are just going to be gunslingers. So I was talking about it on the show on Tuesday, Jim. When Edmonton's hot, you bet on them. When they lose, look at it. They won 6 in a row, and now they've lost 3 in a row. I'm not going to take Edmonton. I'm taking goals here, guys, which you probably could expect. I'm taking both teams to score, Jim, first period. And I'm taking both teams to score 3 goals. Plus 120 on first period, plus 110, both teams to score 3 goals. Back and forth game coming off those 3 losses. Edmonton will have a good foot forward here. And then looking at the Devils, they're coming off 2 losses as well. And you got weak goaltending and really good offense. Fireworks here. I think it'll be fireworks.
I think, and this is taking a little while to form. The last time I said this with the Oilers, it was the easiest casher of the year. I think the Edmonton Oilers are the best bet on the board. I think they're the best bet on the entire board today in NHL. I don't know if we'll say the best bet on the entire sports landscape. I think they are the best bet on the NHL board today.
Wow.
That's what I think about the Oilers. All right, let's roll on. Next up, 8 p.m. Eastern. Vancouver Canucks 22-9-2, 10-6-1 on the road at the Dallas Stars, 18-8-4, 9-5-1 at home. American Airlines Center in Dallas, Texas. Thatcher, Demko, and Wedgewall. Is that confirmed that Wedgewall is in?
Wedgwood.
Yeah, his nickname's Wedgewall.
Yeah, Wedgewall. Yeah.
Demko 16-7-0, 2.34 goals against average, 921. Sabres has 3 shutouts. Wedgewall 7-1-2, 3.21 goals against average, 906 Sabres. He's been a great backup goalie for years and years. Vancouver power play is dropping and has dropped down to 24.8%. I don't know exactly why that is. They're still playing really good hockey. Maybe it's Kuzmenko and the issues with Kuzmenko. Their penalty killing is. Say what goes there?
Kuzmenko is playing better lately. He scored a couple goals. I know he's been playing a little, like the last few weeks, he's starting to play a little bit better.
I said this last year that he was the one player on our that had enormous value that we could have moved at the deadline. There was not a spot where he could have possibly had more value. And I would have said, I was like, he may have more value right now than he'll ever have in his entire career. And we were trying to rebuild, and we signed him to the contract, and it made no sense to me, just from a rebuild standpoint. But this Canucks team just doesn't want to rebuild because Aquilini. I don't even want to get into it. Dallas 23.3% power play, 86 points. Imagine the first round picks we could have got at the deadline for Kuzmenko after. I mean, he was compared to Kaprizov, and he should have been. But Canucks coming off their second straight win and 6th in their last 7 games, 5-2 at Nashville on Tuesday night. Dallas comes in off their third win in 4 nights, 4-3 at home in overtime over Seattle on Tuesday night. I tried to get to Dallas. And I just didn't feel like the risk reward was right. The total right now is at under 6.5 at -115, opened up at -114. And then the money line here. I mean, at what price? Look, Dallas is not playing that well, even though their record's great. They opened up -141. They're now -148. I imagine that Dallas is the side here. The Canucks are feeling good about themselves, but is this enough risk reward? I don't know if it is. If you can explain to me that it is, Gogster, I'll bet Dallas. Take it away for us here. Slatsy says Canucks 7-0 versus Stars last 7 meetings. And the only thing I care about when Vancouver plays Dallas is my fond memories of Pavel Bure putting his elbow into the head of Shane Churla and knocking him out cold on the ice. One of my favorite moments. Dirty. But look, it's a violent sport. You don't like dirty. You don't like violence. Don't watch. Take it away, Gogster. Canucks Stars.
Yeah, the head-to-head matchups, guys. Vancouver's won 5 of the last 5, dating back to April 18, 2022. So the Vancouver's had their number. You could say Dallas is due for one, but who cares about that, right? Totals have been just crazy for Dallas, Jim. Over. 9-1 to the over the last 10 games. And then Vancouver, I know I want under as well. I like Demko at home. On the road, I know he's for whatever reason, his numbers a little bit poor, guys, on the road. So in this spot, I'm trying not to overthink these too much, Jim. I'm just going to take the over. Even though Demko's going to be in net, I know Wedge Wall is in between the pipes for Scotty there for the Dallas, but I think this is just going to be a back and forth goal fest. I don't have the strongest breakdown. This is just me kind of looking at Dallas and what they've been doing. You got the backup goalie in too for Dallas. Vancouver, their power play, Jim's actually been pretty poor. Where are we here? 12% last 3 weeks, 25% on the road. And then looking at Dallas, they're humming at 30% last 3 weeks, 82% penalty kill. So I think Vancouver's going to have to keep up with them, and I think they can. So look for an over here, guys. 6.5, a little bit high there, but I got plus 100 on it. Just not going to try and overthink this one. Dallas has been going to the over, and a team like Vancouver who can score. Demko's poor numbers on the road. Give me the over.
Locked in the over. It's just not enough risk reward. Fade my pick says fade the Stars simply because they don't play well at home. They're 9-5-1 at home, but if you had faded them in every home game this year, you would have a profit. TJ says last 10 games, these teams are 17-3 to the first period over. Says not really a bet I make, but interesting.
Yeah.
Chris
Dallas can't stop anything.
Says the Bure elbow was showcased on the Don Cherry Rock'em Sock'em videos. I love Rock'em Sock'em videos. Man. I love those videos. All right, let's roll on. But by the way, Nate Dogg and Deshaun G liking the over in that Flyers Nashville game where we're on Nashville and you also added the Flyers team total under, which I really like as well. I really like that as well. The team total under for the Flyers. I see it as a different spot, but those are two strong cappers that believe there will be goals there. Let's move on. I can't do it. I just don't think the risk reward is right for me to fade the Canucks, even though I'd like to. And maybe I just need to find another spot on this road trip. But, the market doesn't love the Canucks at all. So it's not,
I lean towards that. I would lean towards Dallas, but look at this, Jim. 3-4-4, 3-6, 4-5-4. That's how many goals they've given up in their last 8 games. They're having a real tough time. And Vancouver isn't a team where they're like a Washington or kind of Philadelphia. No offense to your hockey teams there, guys, but they don't score as much. This is a team that I know their power play is not as strong, but I'd be pretty nervous with Vancouver's offense. So Scott Wedgwood in net, see how he does, but I don't trust him. So give me the over. That's the play, I think. We
need to speed this up, Gogster, my friend. So let's move on to the next spot on the board. Loopy says Don Cherry's still going strong at 90 years old. You should interview him. I don't think I could get him on the show, but my friend is a Don Cherry impersonator, and he was doing it for a living for a while when Don Cherry was a big name. So I could get him on the show.
I don't know. Bad. He's 40 minutes down the road here, Jim, at Wolf Island from where I am there. So, it could maybe happen.
There's our guy, the chillest in the house. All right, let's roll on. Next up, 8 p.m. Eastern, Montreal Canadiens 14-13-4, 7-4-2 on the road at the Minnesota Wild, 13-13-4, 7-4-2 at home at XL Energy Center in St. Paul, Minnesota. Sammy Montembeault, 7-4-2, 2.79 goals against average, 9-11 save percentage. I like the way he's been looking. Philip Gustafsson, you can expect him to improve his numbers here. 8-8-2, 2.91 goals against average, 906 save percentage, 2 shutouts. Montreal power play 18%, penalty killing 73.2%. It's been shocking watching how bad this Minnesota penalty killing has been all year. 72.2% power play, around the same numbers as Montreal. Slatsy says Wild have dominated the series. Wild 9-1 last 10, and he watched the last game played. Wild owned the Habs. Habs come in off their second straight win, 3-2 in overtime at the Jets on Monday. The Wild come in off their 4th win in 5 games, 4-3 in overtime at Boston on Tuesday night. So the Wild screwed me against Boston, and I'm going to keep fading them. Jared Spurgeon here may play. He's day-to-day. Jonas Brodin, we know, is out. So maybe their captain plays. But Matt Zuccarello is out, and
that's big.
It hurts their power play. It hurts them. And I want to fade them every chance that I can get. And so I moved on the plus 175 on the Habs, and I'm going to keep fading Minnesota. Look, this may not, you will see if it works. Of course, everything's transparent and accountable, but that is my plan. And I'm going to get nice plus numbers to do it. Look at this. The Habs are down to plus 159 They were plus 175. Well, they were plus 172 when I moved on them at plus 175 at Bet365. They were plus 172 at Pinnacle. So even at 10:38, they went from plus 172 to plus 173. It was 31 minutes ago they went to plus 166. 4 minutes after that, they went to plus 155. We talk about the difference of our capping styles, and one of the great things about working with Slatsy is he always talks about the trends in NHL, and so does Mikey Money, and Slatsy makes so much fun of me because I don't care about the trends in NHL. I don't care, and it is something my dad beat into me. He's like, why would Minnesota care about playing Montreal? That's what he would tell me. Now, if it's a divisional trend, but why would Montreal have an issue going into Minnesota? They're not in the same division. They're not even in the same conference.
Yeah.
What do they care about each other? They don't care about that. And that's exactly what he would say to me when I would talk about it. And you're always cut from that cloth, however your dad gambled, you gamble in a similar fashion, or you disrespect it so much that you don't send in his bets. That's completely up to you. Take it away, Gogster. I'm on the Habs at plus 175. Floor is yours.
God, if I didn't have so much action, I love that play, Jim. I think Minnesota here, guys, this is going to be their 5th game, Jim, in eight nights. Isn't that wild? They played Calgary on the 14th, Vancouver 16th, 18th, Pittsburgh, back-to-back, 19th at Boston. Now they're coming back home on the 21st here. Gustafson's looked really good, though. His numbers, Jim, last 5 games, he's got a .938 save percentage, 1.77 goals against. I think this could be a low-scoring game here with these in this spot. I don't think this is a good spot for Montreal. I would agree with you here. They're a fresher hockey team. I think Minnesota could probably use the break, even though they have been playing really good hockey. I just think they played a little too much hockey. 5 games in 8 nights is not easy, and they've been back and forth on the road at home. So nothing on this game, but I wouldn't talk anyone off Montreal here at a nice plus price. I like your breakdown there, Jim.
I'm excited about it. The Habs have actually been pretty good to me. And the Habs have screwed me over when I faded them early in the year. But they've been pretty good to me when I backed them, and I will do it again here. Kyle Hintley in the house. Nice to have your monster bets back in business with us, my man. Great to see you. Let's roll.
He bet? Who are you betting today, Kyle? We got to find out what's the big play of the day.
We do. Yeah. We know, especially with his Bruins. Need to know what he's doing with his Bruins. Take it away. 9 p.m. Eastern. Ottawa Senators 11-16, 3-7 on the road. Colorado Avalanche 19-11-2, 12-4-0 at home. Ball Arena, Denver, Colorado. As much as I've been talking about the coaches being fired and how they're must bets and how I wanted to account just for that, I was so caught up in football and coming off the worst week of my entire NFL career that I didn't even bet the DJ Smith firing, and I felt like I'd left money on the table. Then I noticed that a couple of you guys, you included, Gogster, only moved on the first period, which was a phenomenal read. Sammy Culmer moved on both the first period and the full game. But I was surprised to see this. And when do we back the Senators? The problem is, and I said this when they were 3-3 on the road, was that at that time they'd only played 6 games. They only played 30% of their schedule on the road. We don't know what kind of hockey team this is. You know what kind of hockey team you've got with how they play on the road. And now they're 3-7-0 on the road. They still played 27 games, 10 on the road, 17 at home. We don't know how bad they are. Korpisalo versus Georgiev. Korpisalo's had a rough year, 3.54 goals against average, .892 save percentage. I don't know why they picked up Chikrin. Now I know Shabbat's out, but they're similar defensemen. I like the Pelliks and the Pullocks and the defensive defenseman is what Senators needed so bad. Luke Shen is who the Senators needed, Ottawa fired DJ Smith before their 5th straight loss, 4-3 to Arizona on Tuesday. Jacques Martin hired as senior advisor to the coach staff December 6th, serving as the interim coach. And Daniel Alfredson, Alfie.
He's back.
He's the assistant to Martin. So when do they step up here for those two legends? Colorado comes in off its second loss in 3 games, 3-2 to the Blackhawks on Tuesday. I wish they weren't coming off a loss where they looked so bad. I stared at Ottawa for a long time, man. A long time. And I thought about your first period's action. The Ottawa opening up at plus 145 and now plus 143. From a total perspective here, we have it sitting at a 6.5, but it's not a real 6.5. It's plus 108 to the under, so it's only minus 122 to the over, but it looks like this is going to hit a 7 soon. Take it away, Gogster. We got to be tight here. Take it away for us, Senators Avalanche.
All right, I'll try to be tight. This is my team here, guys. Backyard Senator AHL team. They got to break the bad habits right now of the Ottawa Senators. They've had so many bad habits with DJ Smith. Now they got the 2 new guys in here. It's going to happen. You got to give it time. But I was listening to some pressers from Martin, And they're just saying they got some work to do. Just kind of, they got to work on not staying in their own zone, Jim. They're in their own zone way too much. They're going to work on just not kind of being in their own zone. So it's going to, in my opinion, lead to less offensive trying to just push the puck. They're going to work on just not getting stranded in their own zone. So full game, I'm going to stay away from, but I'm doing another first period look. I still think there's going to be goals in the first period. I don't think they're going to fix it right away, especially against a Colorado team coming off a bad loss 3-2 to Chicago. Look there to be both teams to score here, guys, in the first period, plus 140. And it could be Forsberg for Senators, just because Korpisalo's looked so bad on this road trip. I don't think Forsberg's played a lot, so Forsberg could go, which at this point, it might be a better thing for Ottawa. So goals early, but as the game goes on, we'll see. Ottawa should start to figure they're going to start changing the way they operate, especially on the back end. So I'll be watching this game closely, but both teams to score first period.
I wonder when we move on the Senators. I wonder when
after the break. I got no time soon. I think, Jim.
Slatsy's saying Jacques Martin, 71 years old, coaching a bunch of 20-year-olds. What could go wrong? I tell you why I think it's fine, Slatsy. It's because of Alfie. If Alfie wasn't there, I'd say this is going to blow up. But Alfie being there, he's not long removed from starring and wearing the C on this hockey team. He can be the in-between for the players. He can do a ton. It's a huge coup having Alfie there. All right, let's roll on. Next up, 2 games left before we get into NFL. Big Ragoo will be joining us for NFL. We're going to have Big Ragoo and Gogster for the game, the Thursday nighter tonight. Then we're going to have Big Ragoo for bowl games tonight, tomorrow night, and he wants to talk about James Madison Air Force. 10 p.m. Eastern, Calgary Flames 13-14-5, 5-8-4 on the road to Anaheim Ducks, 12-19-0, 5-10-0 at home, Honda Center in Anaheim, California. Jacob Markstrom, 7-8-2, 2.83 goals against average, 901 save percentage is listed. I don't know if he will be in. Lucas Dostal, 6-6, 3.85 goals against average, 888 save percentage. He got off to a great start, and he's completely fallen apart. I don't know if he will be in either. And Kyle Hintley wanting to make a big move on the Calgary Flames. Calgary power play 11.3%, penalty killing 82%. Anaheim 22.2% power play, 80.1% penalty killing. I thought it was a very interesting move bringing McTavish, Zegras, and Drysdale with them on the trip and then not playing them. I did not expect that. I wonder if they'll be in the lineup here. I did look for a way to get on the Flames, the team I despise, just because the Ducks are coming off their second straight win. I mean, it was a very impressive end to their road trip. Very impressive. And the Flames are coming in off their second straight win, 3-1 at home over the Panthers on Monday. I didn't find a way to do it. This total is at 6. It's juiced to the over, minus 117 to the over. It opened up at 6.5. It's dropped to 6. It's dropped to 6 at all the books, market wide. And then money line wise, this is sitting at minus 185 for the Flames. This opened up at minus 140. I mean, talk about a smash and grab. You know, Kyle Hintley and moving on them at minus 155 has got to feel good about this line move. The market's now telling me that I made a big mistake not finding a spot. Deshaun G says we cook and duck tonight. So he likes the Flames too, expecting the Ducks to fall off after their impressive last 2 games. Take it away for us here, Gogster Flames Ducks.
Or hunting duck. Yeah, this is burning duck. I don't know what to do here, guys. This is 2 teams that I don't really want anything to do with. I don't think they're really good. They're not making the playoffs if you ask me, but they're 2 strong wins, both of them. Stay off game for me, short and sweet. I know we got football coming up here, guys. I don't know. I kind of lean to the burning duck here. Not strong, but the special teams strong advantage actually for Anaheim. Power play 27% at home, 24% last 3 weeks. And then Calgary, 13% on the road, 11% last 3 weeks. So I'm going to be rooting the Flames, that's for sure, with Kyle on this one. But I'm going to stay off this game. Just 2 bad hockey teams, in my opinion.
Let's roll on. Final game on the board. Arizona Coyotes 16-13-2, 5-8-2 on the road at San Jose Sharks, 9-20-3, 6-7-2 at home. Sap Center in San Jose, California. It's funny. Last year, you had to wait for the Sharks to get home to fade them. This year, you have to wait for them to get home to back them. Connor Ingram going up against Mac Blackwood. Looks like Mackenzie Blackwood will be in. Ingram, fell off a little bit, but he's back. I think he's going to have a good season, and I expect him to have a legit career ahead of him. Coyotes come off their third straight win, 5-3 at home over the Senators on Tuesday night. Sharks coming off their third straight loss, 4-1 at home versus the Kings on Tuesday. From a line history standpoint, we are sitting here with Arizona minus 150. It's suspect, a very suspect line. This opened up minus 154, immediately went to minus 167, and then the Sharks backers came in, knocked us all the way down to minus 147. It's sitting at minus 150 right now. And from a total standpoint here, we have the 6 minus 113 to the over. It opened up minus right at this number, exactly at this number. So, I don't feel like I have a good angle on the Sharks. I think they have a ton of volatility, and I know that the Coyotes, I want to find ways to back at home, and I want to fade them on the road like we did beautifully when they went to Enterprise in St. Louis. There's times where I think they're overvalued on the road, but putting it all together here, I don't find it. I can't feel an angle that I really want to risk and make a move on. Take it away, Gogster. Our final game on the board, Coyote Sharks.
Yeah, good thing with these last two games, I don't have anything on it, so we can be short and sweet. I lean towards San Jose, but again, I've been really bad at picking San Jose games all year. Did actually hit them on Tuesday with a money line parlay, faded them against LA. Both teams to score first period, slight lean. Ingram's coming off a bad pull against Ottawa, allowed 3 goals in the first, so expect Ingram to have a much better game here. I got nothing on this game, Jim. I got nothing on it. It's just no worries. There's enough games on the slate.
Let's go over all the action. I just want to say this one more time. I want you guys to pick the time when you think the market's bottomed out on the Devils and move on them slightly or whatever you want on them to win the conference and win the cup. Because they're going to have the biggest advantage imaginable over every team in the league when they have $9 million extra dollars at the deadline and get Dougie Hamilton back. And we've only seen this once in this era of these new rules, and it was the Lightning with Kucherov, and they won the Stanley Cup. So keep that in mind. And I'm going to wait. I'm not going to do it tonight. I'm going to try to find the spot where they're at their lowest, but just keep that in mind. All right, Gogster is on the Leafs Panthers money line parlay at plus 158, and he's on the Lightning. I'm going to be fading him. I'm going up against him here. I'm going to have the Knights in the under 6.5. I'm going to tweet that. I guess, I've got to sit here a little longer if I'm going to go up against them. Make sure that I have the conviction to go up against them. But the under 6.5 will be on my card. Again, I'm going to wait until Patera. This is TJ's idea. Wait until Patera is announced because there'll be a market move towards the Lightning and the over when he's announced. Then we talked about the Blues Florida situation. Gogster we're both on Nashville Predators. Gogster moved on the Flyers team total under 2.5 at plus 136. That's in addition to his card. I also like that Philly team total under. I'd like to move on that as well. Hurricanes, Penguins. We have Gogster on Carolina money line in the under 7.5 at plus 135 SGP. Capitals, Blue Jackets. We have heard from TJ the gift, which cashed yesterday with the Lightning in overtime, is on the Blue Jackets here. And it sucks that I'm not backing them blindly every game. But something makes me nervous after that 9-4 explosion. Gogster is on the first period under 1.5. Then I'm on the Edmonton Oilers, and I believe that they're are they the best bet on the board? I think I like
Nashville.
For me, I like Nashville a ton too, but maybe Nashville's the best bet on the board. I really, really, really like the Oilers here tonight. Then Canucks, Stars, Gogster's on the over 6.5 at even money. I'm on the Montreal Canadiens at plus 175. Ottawa, Colorado, Gogster's on first period, both teams to score plus 140. And then we have stayed off the 2 late games on the West Coast. Calgary, Anaheim, no action. Arizona, San Jose, no action. That is our NHL breakdown for today. And love you, Slatsy. Thank you for being a part of this. JP says Blackwood should be in. And Duclair is in. Says he'll take the Sharks at plus money. Duclair's a hell of a hockey player. TJ says Sharks haven't had 2 straight home games since November 27th. That's wild. Deshaun G on Clayton Keller anytime goals as well. Billy Friedrich says the Yotes 0-4-6 first period on the road money line last 10. I didn't know that. Sharks are 4-2-4 first period home money line last 10. Wow, that's wild. That is absolutely wild. All right, there you go. Deshaun G also saying Nazem Kadri assists is free cash. Nate Dogg on Vancouver money line and the over, and he's leaning towards the draw. Philly Eagle Flyer joined us on the Predators on the puck line, and Swiggy, my man, Swig Bets in the house. Okay, and Samsonov confirmed, and Wedgwood is confirmed. All right, let's move on to NFL, and we brought in a ringer. Brought in a ringer to add to the glory here of our Thursday night breakdowns. Currently number 1, currently first in our NFL Pub Hub out of 27 cappers. and he is also our season 1 champion. When it comes to the gridiron,
I'm not surprised.
Ragoo can play. Ragoo can play when it comes to the gridiron. He's a money-making machine for us, and as consistent as any cap I've ever worked with. Please welcome from Ocala, Florida, by way of New York City, the Big Ragoo in the house. Doc, how are you, my friend?
Merry Christmas, everybody. Merry Christmas. How are we doing, guys?
Good, man. You?
Good. Shout out to the chat. Beautiful chat we got out there, everybody out there. I'm wearing my Jazz gear today because I got to color coordinate. I take after my guy, Jimmy. You know, he give me a little inspiration with the FSU hat. And what do you got on your shirt? That jump man over there, man?
Yeah, Michael Jordan.
There
Michael
you go.
Jordan.
There you go. Ghoster, how's it going in Bell Vegas, bro?
Oh, we're doing good, man. We're doing good. Our Broncos, we need these 3 wins, man. We can win these 3. Maybe we get in.
Hey, the NFL is interesting, man. It's very fluid from week to week. So it's going to be an interesting week this week, too, especially with the Saturday games going on. But we're talking about tonight, though, right?
We are talking about tonight, and it's a very tricky game. Let's get to work. New Orleans Saints 7-7, 3-4 on the road at the LA Rams, 7-7, 4-3 home. SoFi Stadium in Inglewood, California. Our guy, son Dizzle, was at the game, Saints game on Sunday. He's following his Saints over to SoFi. He's not being at SoFi. He will be there this evening. And shout out to son Dizzle. Jay Peasy moving on the Rams -4 and -104. Before we get into the line history, let's talk about the injury issues. Olave is a go. Olave will be in the lineup for the Saints. Ryan Ramczyk will not. Offensive tackle will miss his 3rd game of the season. Tutu Atwell is a go for the Rams out wide. Trey Tomlinson and Joe Noteboom are now not expected to be in the lineup for the Rams. Those are the key issues here from an injury standpoint. So both of the star young receivers will be in the lineup. Let's take a look at the also a very interesting thing too is Cooper Kupp complaining about back-to-back home games within 5 days, how hard it is on his knees, how hard it is on his legs, playing 2 games on that turf in a very short period of time. He wouldn't be saying it if his knees weren't barking. So just a side note, if you're looking at Cooper Kupp, maybe you don't want that in your head, but he's really adamant about how hard it is on his legs. So here we go. These are going to be Pinnacle opening lines and closing lines. The Rams opened up -4 at -117, and a minute later flipped to a 4.5 at a pick'em, basic pick'em. And at that point, they were at 4.5. This is on Sunday night and into Monday. They were at 4.5 until Tuesday. Tuesday, they moved back to a 4, which is where they've been. Not only that, but there have been times where this 4 was juiced for the Saints, and this is one of those times again. The 4 for the Saints is at -110. From a total standpoint here, let's move over to the total. Sorry, let me refresh this quickly. From a total standpoint here, we have this sitting at a 46. This opened up at 44, and it's just climbed. And we haven't seen any buyback. No buyback at all. It's just every time it's flipped to the next number, it slowly got juiced up and juiced up. This 46 is at -110 right now. The under 46 is -102. So we have a move to the over, and now a very, very slight move towards the Saints. The reason why that is interesting is because only 17% of the tickets are on the Saints and 20% of the cash is on the Saints. I know the Saints have just played 2 cupcakes. Now, they handled them very easily. But judging from the market alone, if I was going to bet this game on the market alone, I would guess that the Rams win this game by a field goal and that the Saints cover the 4. From a total standpoint, 81% of the tickets and 73% of the cash is on the over. The market's moving to the over. That's the cleanest spot, you could say from a X's and O's and market standpoint. The star wide receivers are coming back. Do the defense each defense have enough time to properly prepare for tricky offenses. Now, you could say any team coached by Dennis Allen does not have a tricky offense, but, with Taysom Hill, and they do have options. Saints coming off their second straight win, 24-6 over the Giants. They're now tied with the Bucs atop the NFC. This is a huge, huge game. Carr passed to 10 different players, season-high 3 touchdown passes, finished with a passer rating of 134.8. We know he cries himself to sleep, and he wakes up excited on Christmas morning. That's what we know about Carr. So the fact that he had such a great game is probably a good thing for him and his confidence that, comes in and out. He finished 23-28 for 218 yards and 3 touchdowns. Kamara looked very good, both catching and receiving. Saints are 17th in the league in red zone offense. They're 17th in the league in third down offense and 21st in the league in red zone offense. And Olave will be ready to go. They have issues defensively, but they look great last game. Cameron Jordan's not right. His ankle's bothering him all year. He's invisible out there. Defensively, the Saints are very, very good on third down. They're 4th in the league, and they're 13th in the league in the red zone. Lattimore will not be back. Then for the Rams, they're coming off a 28-20 home victory over the Commanders. They dominated that game. It just some mistakes, some fumbles by Kyron Williams. First 2 fumbles of his career kind of hurt them. Cooper Kupp was spectacular. I told you guys about him talking about his legs being barking at him. The Rams were in complete control of that game. They're very good converting third downs, going up against the 4th best third down defense in the league. They're 10th offensively. And they're very good in the red zone, even though they were terrible against Washington. They're very good all year. We shouldn't take too much to that. Then defensively, they're middling. They're 16th in their third down defense. And they are surprisingly strong with their red zone defense. Where they struggle is their pass rush. Their pass rush is weak. And over the last 3 games, only 4 teams have less sacks than the Rams. Now, Akilo Witherspoon is expected to be good to go. He's not even on the injury list. Havenstein and Atwell, so their right tackle good to go. That's the situation. That's the story. Let's hear what you guys think in the chat, as well as let's hear what Mr. Gogster and Big Ragoo think. Ragoo, you've joined us here. We'll start with you. We'll close with Gogster. Ragoo, Are you moving on this game? Do you have pre-flop action? What are you looking for Thursday nighter with something on the line, Saints-Rams?
Hey, you laid it all on the line with the market moves, the injuries, the comebacks, the whole 9. I mean, this is a really tricky spot in a lot of different ways, especially with I get that same feel as almost like a 3 type of game. Both teams. I mean, the Giants, they beat the Giants and they beat the Panthers, right? So where I have a problem with the Saints is Allen is not very good against winning coaches. I think his last 13, he's like 1-12 outright, and then and in the past he's had trouble with McVay especially. So defensively, they're solid across boards when they get in red zone situations, stuff like that. But you're going to be able to move the ball on this team, and I like the fact that with Williams coming back, they got a real young team, the Rams. If you take away Stafford and Donald, I mean, this is the youngest team in the NFL. So I think he's done a great job coaching this team up. They're in the playoff hunt. They're on the bubble, right? So is the Saints. The Saints they got to win first place or they're not going in. The Rams have a different path here, but I get the fact that, these teams are both giving up right around 20 points, in the splits. Rams outscoring them by about 3-ish. Talent-wise, Olave is coming back, with the young receivers. I like the fact that the number has ticked up. That was my look originally, was to get on the over. I missed the best number of all, the 44.5, but I don't think it's still too late. I think if you stay under 47, I think you're live to that play here. As far as the play goes on the side, it would have to be, I would be leery to lay anything bigger than 3 here. I'm just speaking truth, guys. If you're interested in taking the Rams, I would look at money line, or if you want to get on the dog, it's a coin flip either way. But I think there is some value. If you look like Jimmy was saying, the percentage of the monies and the tickets are all written on the Rams, but the lines kind of move sharp towards New Orleans here. So this is the pros versus Joe play without a doubt. The sharps are going to be on the Saints. And most of the squares are going to be on the Rams, but I still like the over here. I think I think both teams are going to get their points here. I think the Rams will give it up. I know the pass defense, like you said, the pass rush against the Saints is not going to be good here, or for the Saints is not going to be good. And I think we'll see a lot of Kyrie Williams. When he rushes, when he's in the game, he averages when he's over 100 yards. I think he's leading the league, isn't he, in rushing? I think they average like 27 points. When he's not, they give up like 14. So he's in the game. Opportunities to come downfield for this team, set up a little play action. And Stafford, he's able. I mean, just about a week ago or 2 weeks ago, we didn't know who the quarterback was going to be for the Saints. Now they reeled off a couple wins. And at SoFi, Rams have put together a nice string of games, outside that one loss that they had. So I would back the Rams on the money line here, and then also I back the over. So I'm probably going to get to the window with the over here, even though it's ticked up to 46. I think it's solid. I think the Rams will get points, and I think the Saints will get points with the receivers getting in the game. So put me on the over.
The over 46 available, -108. Bovada's moved it to 46.5, and I have made my decision. I had to sit with this for a couple days. I'm going to be betting the Saints as soon as the show ends. Mr. at +4. Mr. Gogster, take it away. Saints, Rams.
Yeah, this game here, I'll give you all my notes here, guys. So we got one last two, like Ragoo was saying, against two weaker opponents. I think this team, guys, I don't think they're good against when it comes down to like a one score game. That's where the Saints, I think, struggle. Like Ragoo was saying with Dennis Allen, I don't think he's got it all upstairs, or at least enough right now to get those wins, especially against a team like the Rams. 3 L's to Detroit, Atlanta, Minnesota, those games before. So tougher teams they do seem to struggle against. And in those 3 losses too, guys, they're allowing 24 plus points. I do think this is going to be a higher scoring game. Both talking with the Saints, guys, they are tied for the division with Tampa Bay. So it's an important game, really one of the best Thursday night football games we've had in a long time. But the Saints, they're 2-5 on Thursday night football games. Only wins are against Atlanta, so they have struggled. And then in those 4 losses too, on Thursday night football, their last 4 games, they've allowed 27 plus to Jacksonville, Arizona, Dallas, and Buffalo. And I think the Rams are right up there with those teams. So the Saints D though, Jim, this is where I think they do have a slight possibly advantage here. The Rams defense in the fourth quarter, they allow 101 points. The league average was, I think it was like 55. I should have it right here. Just give me one sec here. League average was 85.3. They're allowing 101. So I don't know how they're going to close this game out. I think the Saints are going to be right there with the healthy wide receivers on both sides of the ball. That definitely helps too. Where I'm going to go with this game, guys, I'm going with a same game parlay. We got 4 pieces to it. Saints, I don't think they get blown out here. I think it's going to be a tight game, +7.5. I got the over 40.5. I tweeted this out, guys, over 40.5. In this game, both these teams, like I said, there's just too much offense, I believe. Defense for the Rams, they allow slightly more passing first downs. They allow more passing first downs, which tells me the Saints are going to be able to throw on them. The stud running back for the Rams, though, guys, he's going to be a huge factor, I think, for this offense, like Ragoo's saying. So I'm taking the Saints over 7.5, over 40.5. I'm taking second half. This is another fun one. Second half, New Orleans Saints +7.5. They've been a really strong team in the second half, where the Rams seem to allow teams to kind of come back in the fourth quarter, especially actually that game. It was against Washington, I think it was. Washington almost came back and got the cover. So backdoor is always open for teams against the Rams. And then I'm taking Kyren Williams over 75 yards rushing, Jim. I don't think he's going to have enough touches, and he's averaged 131 yards in his last 5 games. So tie all 4 of those together, guys. It's coming out to +240 for a same game parlay there.
That's an interesting one. I
like that 75 yards.
It makes a ton of sense. We have Big Ragoo on the over 46 and -108. Gogster, same game parlay, 4 spots. Saints +7.5, full game, over 40.5. Second half, Saints +7.5. And Kyren over 75 yards, rushing at +240. I will be moving on the Saints as soon as this show is over. Now, we've had some interesting looks on why it's a mistake to move on the Saints. One here from Ramon Scott. He says late season road teams off 3 straight home games, especially off back-to-back wins, are absolutely dreadful against the spread, around 25% long-term. Even worse when a dog of more than a field goal, around 12.5%. Billy Friedrich says Saints have beat nobody. Panthers twice, Pats, Giants, Bears, Titans, Colts. Colts are the best team they've beat. So I get it if you don't like it. Torrey Coker moving on the Saints on the money line. I will be on the Saints +4.
I
Mr.
had him last
Gogster,
week.
great work,
I had him
my
last week,
friend.
Jimmy. I said Tommy Crawfish last week, not Tommy Collins. Tommy Crawfish.
Yeah, no, you nailed that look. As always, you nailed that look. Mr. Gogster, my friend, thank you for rolling with us in NHL and NFL, my friend. You can catch Mr. Gogster every Tuesday on the Peter Loshak Show, every Thursday right here on Betting with the Bag. Keep up the great work, my friend. And March can't come soon enough when we're down in San Antonio together. And Ragoo will be there as well. Doc will be there as well. Man, I just it can't come soon enough. And Gogster and I are flying in on the Wednesday alongside Nuke Worker, so we will be in the bar on Thursday for round 1. I will do my show from the studio Thursday morning and Friday morning, and I'm going to push the start time back. It's not going to be at 11 a.m. Eastern.
That's a good idea.
That's a good idea. Yeah, we've been talking about that
like
for
back
2 years.
or is it forward?
Back. Let's go back. You're right. Forward would be the proper term. Gogster, we love you. Please follow Gogster on X at EG47_. Well, we love you, Gogster. Any last words for the Capper supporting the show?
I just appreciate you guys. This is going to be the last time, I think. I think there's no hockey next week, Jim. So Merry Christmas to everyone and their families. You too, Jim, and all your family, their low baggers all around the world. Guys, we'll see you in 2024. Come meet us at Pubapalooza 3. It's going to be wild, 2024. Can't wait. And be good, guys. Cash some tickets. We'll see you in the new year.
There he is, Mr. Gogster. All right, we stay with the gridiron and we stay with the Big Ragoo. Let's talk about tonight's Boca Raton Bowl. 8 p.m. Eastern, the South Florida Bulls 6-6 at the Syracuse Orange 6-6. We're at FAU Stadium in Boca Raton. 69 Fahrenheit, mostly cloudy. 10-mile-per-hour winds. Let's get into the line history here, the cash flow, and set a very quick table for Doc to deliver. Doc, of course, part of the famed Boss and the Sauce group with our very own, now he's everybody's, but we call him our very own, Mr. DJ Big Boss, whom we love dearly.
There he is.
There he is. Let's look at that
hanging out with the harem.
Yeah, man, that guy parties. All right, here we go. From a spread perspective, we are sitting here with Syracuse -3.5. This line's been all over the place, and we'll discuss why it is. It's no Schrader, so the line's been all over the place. Opening up as 3.5-point favorites, then they moved to 3, then they moved to 2.5. Then 3 days ago, they're 1.5-point favorites. Then the money starts piling back on the Orange. They're right back where we started, the circle complete back at 3.5, which makes it really tough to move on them, understanding, if you like Syracuse, understanding what you could have had and when you could have had it. From a total perspective here, this opened up at 58.5. It got up to 62. And then the bottom dropped off. We're talking a 7-point move here towards the under. So from its peak, from its high water mark, South Florida. Oh, let's take a look at the cash. Sorry, let's go into the cash flow then for this spot here. From a cash perspective, 69% of the tickets, 71% of the cash is on Syracuse. From a total look, 40% of the tickets and 63% of cash is on the under. South Florida comes in off there. Now, not all the, we're going to be talking about 6 different teams today with Big Ragoo. A game Thursday, a game Friday, and a game Saturday. And of course, no one's played since the last weekend of November. So it's been a while. South Florida comes in off their second win in 3 games, 48-14 at home over Charlotte, 7.5-point favorites. Byram Brown, the 6'3" freshman, is showing that there's a huge future with the Bulls. He threw for 3,078 yards, 23 touchdowns, 11 interceptions, and he can run. He's a dual threat quarterback. Their offense is nice. It's their defense that is the problem here. They allow 34.9 points per game, 6.3 yards per play. Syracuse comes in off its second win in 3 games, 35-31 at home over Wake Forest is 1.5-point favorites. It was a big deal. And now they head to the Boca Raton Bowl without their quarterback, Garrett Schrader. He has decided to undergo shoulder surgery. His shoulder was an issue all year long. And now Carlos Del Rio Wilson, their backup sophomore, will be here. And he looked bad. this year. 3 touchdowns, 6 picks. He got some game time against Boston College. He threw 4 interceptions with that opportunity and was 17 of 37. Now, Dino was fired, and in comes Fran Brown. I'm sure Ragoo will touch on this because it's opened the transfer window door. You get a Georgia assistant coach in there, and there's a lot of great players coming to Syracuse for next season. South Florida hasn't been in a bowl game since 2018. And the reason why the move has come back to the Orange is because what can you count on in this football game? There's one thing you can count on, and that's Syracuse to play defense. Other than that, who the hell knows what's going to happen? Maybe Doc does. Doc, take it away. South Florida Bulls, Syracuse Orange.
I hope I know a little something, but, in the business we're in, sometimes the information moves quick. Sometimes things change, especially this past bowl season. I mean, it's been so fluid with the friggin' the portals and opt-outs has been amazing. It's been head spinning, but this game, I think we got a pretty good little grip on it. And the answer, you talked about Del Rio Wilson, the quarterback for Syracuse, to back up. I'm hearing that Dan Villari, who's actually the tight end, he runs a Wildcat. I hear he's going to probably be taking most of the snaps.
Oh, wow.
That's not 100%. You got to watch it at game time, but he runs a Wildcat, kind of like what Florida State used up against in their championship against Louisville here. But one thing's for sure, like you said, excuse me, you mentioned the firing of Babers. He's gone. Schrader, that's a big loss for them. And it took Schrader every bit to get into the bowl eligible, coming back, to get that win against Wake, to get him to 6 wins to get into this game. So shout out to him for doing that. You're talking about Brown, the kid Byron Brown, dual threat quarterback for South Florida. Here's what I want you to key on this game, or what I've been keying on is, South Florida's, like you said, they can score a ton of points. Their defense is a little suspect. They're not bad against the run. Their run defense is pretty good, but you will be able to throw the ball. But the question is this: how are you going to throw the ball downfield when you have nobody to throw it? I mean, Wilson, even if he's in, he's not a very, his quarterback rating is low double digits. He hasn't hit he's like in the 17s and the 20s in his few games that he's played. And even less than that is Villari, because he's running Wildcat. But I see a lot of problems here. And that's, the telling sign is, the total come crashing down. So what that puts me on is basically, if you're looking at a South Florida team that has some defensive struggles, well, that's how you help them out a little bit. You get a team that they're not going to be able to throw the ball down the field. You can focus more on the runners. What you're going to play right into their strength of defense. And that's going to give South Florida a few opportunities in Alec Galesh's system. Alec Galesh is the head coach who was the OC for UCF. And then when Heupel went to Tennessee, he went with him there. So that's why I told DJ this Saturday, I said, that's why Tennessee struggled a little bit, because they lost Galesh and they lost Hooker in the same year. So, and you'll notice if USF, they run an up-tempo offense, like number 4 in the country, number of plays. So I just think it's going to put some strain on Syracuse's offense, because they're going to put them in a little bit of peril, not being able to move the ball a whole lot. And I think USF will have some more opportunities, maybe with field position. They'll stretch the field out with the pass a little bit and the quarterback. I like a team total here. I already tweeted this out earlier in the week. It was 28 on Saturday. It's 26.5. So that's even come down a bit. So I'm even going against the market on here. So I like the team total 26.5 for USF. I think they'll score points here. I don't think it's going to be a real high scoring game, but it might be close to the total. I think the total's adjusted out. But as far as the value to me is on South Florida, because we know they run tempo. We know that the quarterback's dynamite. They got talented receivers, and Syracuse is going to be up against it a little bit to make big plays downfield, which I think will shorten the field for USF and give them some scoring opportunities. And if you sprinkle in a turnover, even more the better here. Which I think Syracuse's defense legit though, but their offense is going to put a lot of pressure on the defense today. We've seen it happen with better teams, how they overcome. And I think Syracuse is trending up, but I just like the spot for the points for team total. And then I think USF is also live on the money line here, so I'll make that official too. I think I'm going to take USF in the first half on the money line.
First half money line on USF plus 121.
Yeah, I'll do that. and the team total. Yeah. So you talked about the coach they're bringing in, but it's not going to have no effect on today's game. But Fran Brown, he's the DB coach from Georgia. He's taken over at Syracuse, and they got the big transfer at QB already, so they're already making waves.
Yeah, it's a big story. It's going to be exciting. I'd like to go to I've never been to Carrier Dome. I'd like to go next year.
Yeah.
Doc, do you tweet it out that 26.5?
Yeah, I did. I did tweet it out yesterday. I didn't put the money line out.
That's all good. We'll grab that here for you. Team total over 26.5. 2-unit spot for Ragoo. It'd just be one here for our record-keeping purposes. Minus 110. And USF first half plus 121. Billy Frieder can find that for you at plus 127. Thank you, Billy. And Loopy saying wrong team favored here right now. And Al Cervic says Christmas present for you. Going to send it to you at Publipalooza. I love it. Thank you.
Right on.
I love it. I love it. Thank you. There you go. Locked and loaded for Big Ragoo. USF team total over 26.5 and USF first half plus 127. That didn't help my where I was thinking about this game. So I'm going to have to kind of look at it again with USF in mind.
Yeah.
Rather than
check I mean, even if we get Del Rio Wilson or Valari, if they share snaps, I mean, it's one and the same in my book. I think Del Rio has probably a better opportunity to pass the ball with Del Rio. They'll mix it up, but they were saying he was going to get the majority of snaps. We'll see. That's a couple of things I read late.
That is the Boca Raton Bowl. Now we got a great opportunity here. So our next game we're going to break down, the Gasparilla Bowl, Georgia Tech Yellow Jackets at UCF Knights. We get to cap it here with Ragoo. We get to cap it again tomorrow with Bobano. So we're going to get two different looks from these guys, or two different breakdowns from these guys, which is a wonderful opportunity for us. Let's get to work. Raymond James Stadium in Tampa, Florida, not too far away from where Doc is right now. 66 Fahrenheit, mostly cloudy, 9 miles per hour. Let's get into the line history here. We'll start with this total. As you can imagine, with these two horrific defenses, this total is at 66.5. So it opened up at 62, and it just started getting hammered. 63, 64, 64.5, 65, 66, 68. This 68 was also juiced up to minus 112 to the over. That was the high watermark, was the 68. It has dropped now down to 66.5. From a spread perspective, we are sitting here with UCF minus 5. This is a crucial number in Troy Torrance's capping, is the 5 and the 5.5. And does it go through the 5? Does it go through the 6? This did go up to 6 from the 4.5 opener. It was at 6 this morning. This was at 6 2.5 hours ago. It's back at 5 right now, and the 5 is juiced towards Georgia Tech. Let's get into the cash flow here for tomorrow's game. We have on that total 84% of tickets, 88% cash on the over. I mean, that could be understood because it went from 62 up to 68, and there's been buyback. From a spread analysis here, or a spread look, 53% of the tickets are on UCF and 44% of the cash. There are bigger tickets coming in on Georgia Tech, but the line has moved against them, but it's come back a little bit. So here you go. Showcase of two great offenses and two lackluster, what's the right word? Two underwhelming, the worse than underwhelming, two bad defenses.
Yeah.
Now, from the offensive side of things, these two teams can rush the ball. They are so good on the ground, and to make matters more interesting, they're horrific defending the run. Both teams are going to be able to run the ball all day. Georgia Tech comes in off its second loss in 3 games, 31-23 at home to Georgia's 24.5-point dogs. That was impressive. 5 of Georgia Tech's last 6 games have gone over. And then UCF comes off its third win in 4 games, 27-13 at home to Houston's 15.5-point favorites. So I talked about the one thing I knew. The one thing I knew, because there was a lot of confusing things going on in the bowl game tonight, Boca Raton Bowl. And then here, there's more things that you can count on. There's more things you can count on. You can count on both teams running the ball with ease. You can count on both teams having difficulty defending the ball. Then the biggest thing I could count on, Ragoo, is John Reese Plumlee. He is not going to be playing football anymore after this, right? I mean, he's not going anywhere. I mean, is this the last football game of his life?
This is it, unless he's an unrestricted, undrafted free agent and on a practice squad somewhere.
So, if this is the last football game of John Reese Plumlee's life, he's going to be going. He's going to try to get after it. I hope he doesn't put too much pressure on himself. But that is an interesting angle. Take it away for us, Ragoo. Georgia Tech, UCF in Tampa, Florida.
Tee up that softball for me. Hit it out of park. Hey, yeah, you nailed it. I mean, and to be fair to Georgia Tech, I mean, both of these teams are 6-6 squads. It was still like before Chris was playing bowl games here. So most of these teams are going to be like 6 wins, 7 wins, a few higher win teams sprinkled in. But these teams are almost mirror images of one another here. And if you look at, talk about totals, overs and unders, UCF has split 6-6 to the over and under, and where Georgia Tech is 9-3 to the over. But UCF, when they play home for some reason, they like to shut it down with defense. Now, technically, this is not a home game, but they're playing in Tampa, which is, about an hour and a half drive west of Orlando. So they'll travel well here, guys. There'll be a lot of UCF fans in there, and Georgia Tech will have some fans too. But to be fair, to the Georgia Tech side, Haynes King, that kid's spectacular. I mean, you couldn't ask for, I think it's one of the better quarterback matchups as far as styles of play. Like Jimmy was saying, kids that can make plays with their feet. They're kind of middling quarterbacks with the pass, but, they make plays downfield. They can. They're very capable of doing that, but it's their legs and they can run those reads and stuff, and they're fantastic. Both of these guys are. So, not to say anything really negative about the defenses. It's just in this game, the offense is going to shine. And then, like Jim was saying, the number has kind of ticked up here, and this to me has almost like a last possession type field game. We could see this game, possibly hitting overtime. I just see a lot of points here, just based on the quarterback play, the running back play, the receiver capabilities, and the defenses, the letdown of the defenses. I mean, the only difference really between the two teams as far as like differentials goes, where Georgia wins, when they win games, they're winning by a smaller margin, where UCF is winning by a larger margin. So that's all the reason, for more of a tight number here, but and they're both averaging about 72 plays a game, where Georgia Tech has a smaller advantage there. Rush plays are about equal, just like I say, you're looking at a mirror image squad here. So I know the number's up there a little bit for the total, but I think this game flies over the total here, guys. I think we see a ton of fireworks, and I'm on the over here without a doubt.
The over.
The only thing I worry about, I agree with you with Plumlee. This is going to be his, probably his last game he plays in life, but Georgia Tech, we can't take them too lightly, because they're one of those teams that, they can jump up and, like I say, if it comes down to a turnover or a last possession type thing, I just have a feel like it can go either way here, this spot here. So I agree. I think UCF is going to travel well with the crowd and everything in Tampa. And I lean the UCF side, but I'm more comfortable with the total here over the number. I know it's big, 60s, high 60s, but I think we see like a 35 to 31 type, or 35, like 38, 35. I see like middle 70s, middle to high 70s here. They're both one score out, I think, on the number. Maybe a touchdown better than what the number shows.
Over 66.5 available right now at -105. Ragoo, we're watching this buyback towards the under right now. Pinnacle is the under juiced. For all us that would like to join you on that, do you think we should wait a little bit and see if it keeps dropping?
Yeah, if we're going against the market, yeah, I'd wait. I mean, normally, we always say if you're going to bet overs, bet them early. But in this case, I guess they're thinking, maybe more run-oriented type offensive schemes. But here's the thing. The way these teams score, they score in bunches and they score quick. So I'm not worried about the run game here, because the defenses are a little lackluster in the splits where they're sitting. And they're big play capabilities on both sides. So I don't have a problem. But, yeah, to answer your question, if the markets are showing it going that way, then why not wait? And then as soon as you see an uptick, buy back in.
Because the uptick will happen tomorrow, you think, when the public gets involved?
Yeah, for sure.
So if we want the over, we wait at some point tonight to move on.
Yeah. Because you're going to wait for the last minute, then the late money is definitely going to come to the over. But yeah, I would say like sometime tonight, later this evening, see what it's doing and hit it then.
That is the Gasparilla Bowl. Ragoo on the over 66.5 with Georgia Tech UCF. All right, let's move on to the last spot on the board for our Big Ragoo before Dave Rogers joins us for college basketball, and then Daby after him. And then it's Darryl for NBA. We're locked and loaded here on Thursday, December 21st. We have the Armed Forces Bowl. James Madison Dukes 11-1 at the Air Force Falcons 8-4. We're at Albertson Stadium in Boise, Idaho, and it will be chilly. 35 Fahrenheit, mostly sunny, 8 miles per hour. Let's get into the line history here. We have this total low and dropping. Opened up Pinnacle at 43, dropped to 42.5, dropped to 41.5, dropped to 41, and then an hour ago, 59 minutes ago, it dropped to 40.5. So we have a 2.5 point move. Was that 43.5 or sorry, I don't want to mess it up. It opened up 40.5. Opened up 43. So a 2.5 point move towards the under. Let's get into the spread for this one right here. From a spread perspective, we are sitting with Air Force as 2-point dogs. This line's been all over the place. It opened as 3-point dogs, dropped to 2.5, got back up to 3, dropped to 2.5, got down to 1. Tuesday, this was basically a pick 'em. Then started moving back towards James Madison. So there has been a 1-point move to Air Force, a team that's lost 4 straight games. Take a look at the cash flow here. You have 67% of tickets and 83% of the cash on Air Force. From a total perspective, you have 36% of tickets and 68% of cash on the under. Take it away here. We have the Armed Forces Bowl. James Madison bounced back from their lone loss of the season, that 26-23 in overtime to App State. They traveled to Coastal Carolina, and they smashed and grabbed them. They were 3.5-point favorites, and they won 56-14. And then Air Force has lost 4 straight, coming off 27-19 loss at Boise State at 6.5-point dogs. DC Capper on James Madison -2. Robert Franklin on James Madison money line. Don Play saying James Madison is the best defense in the country.
Yeah.
Take it away for us here, Doc. The move to Air Force, is it perplexing or can you make sense of it?
We can make a little sense, I hope. But yeah, Don Play saying best defense. At one point in time, everybody's the best defense in the country. You know what I'm saying? Whether it's a Big Ten, a Sun Belt team, just it's crazy. The numbers get skewed there, but I get it. When you're good, you're good. And this team's they've been on a magical run for sure. They got FBS, they got bowl eligible. Them and what was it? The Jags, Jacksonville State. They got in too, but it's new territory for them. Obviously, I'm glad to see them because they well deserved to get in here with that lone loss to App State, which I got lucky in that game to win that game in OT. But anyways. Yeah, this is a good team here, man. They're a solid football team. The thing is, they got a bunch of guys that went into the portal for Madison. I mean, a shit ton of them. But all of them are coming back, especially Jordan McLeod. He's the Sun Belt Player of the Year, Conference Player of the Year. But they did lose the defensive end, Mikhail Kamara. He opted out. He was their main guy on the defense, anchoring the defense, and they lost Tyson Lawton, the running back, and Aiden Fisher. But everybody else is coming back. Everybody's playing. They want to be a part of history, right? Madison wants to get in. They want first bowl game. They want to live. But you know who else left? The friggin' coach, Kurt Cignetti. He went off to Indiana. He's a Hoosier now. So now you got an interim coach. So I have a little system that I like to play, and it usually works pretty good. But depending if everything lines up, but it's probably like about 80%. If you fade a team that loses their head coach that got fired or leaves, it's usually pretty good in bowl games. I've done pretty well playing that angle. over the years. Now, looking at this particular spot here, we get an Air Force team that Jimmy said has lost 4 in a row, right? This team was probably one of the best teams in the country. He started out 8-0 early on. The defense was playing well. Zach Larrier, was their quarterback, who's not playing today, by the way. He's out. He's injured. He will not be playing. And Larrier has accounted probably for about a third of the offense. Talk about touchdowns, yards, running, passing, everything. So, and then they have I think Jensen Jones is the guy coming in, I believe. They lost one quarterback. Let me see who it is. Let's see. Jonah Jensen is out. So they're probably gonna go with Ben Britton. He's got 3 pass attempts, and he's got he's got a -133 rating at QB. So now you're gonna plug in a young guy there, and they also lost their best running back, and they lost their best wide receiver. And usually Air Force is the next up type thing, where they're running that triple option. Well, that's the other thing. So you're looking at Madison, like we're talking about. They have the number 1 rated defense. They only allow 61 yards a game on the ground, 61. But have they seen the triple option yet? That might be a little tougher to defend possibly, but still, pretty impressive what they do there. But what the thing is with the missing pieces with Air Force, and if you look at the money that's come in, it's almost like it's a public type dog scenario here, right? So we're looking at what'd you say the number was? We're looking at 1.5 Madison, but all the money and all the tickets are on Air Force, and the line, it just has a real public feel. So I'm usually not big about backing coaches coming in on the interim side, but man, this Madison team is talented, and all these kids are coming back wanting to play. Where Air Force is just trying to patch the end of the season up and move on to next season. I mean, all the money's coming one way. I'm going to go with the chat here, guys. I think this is a game for Madison. I got to go against my own system here just because it makes more sense to take Madison in the spot here, guys. They got. I'm not going to say they got the better talent, but they have the more motivated talent for sure. Kids coming back wanting to play, and it's just been a magical season for them. I know it's unfamiliar. Air Force has done very well in bowl games, right? One of the last 4 bowl games since losing in the Idaho potato game. They won like 4 or 5 in a row. They beat Baylor 30-15. So, but that was last year. This is this year, and I'm going to back Madison here, guys. I'm going with Madison laying the 1.5.
-1.5, -110. Yeah, the chat going off about how difficult it will be for James Madison without their coaching staff.
Yeah, that's true. They got like 4 guys on staff that are left, but I think the players know what to do in this situation, and I get that. If it was that easy every year when they lost coaches, then the players would have to call their own plays, but it doesn't work that way. But here, I think they got the motivation. I think the staff, whatever they have left. I don't even know who's coaching the friggin' game now. I got to go back and look at that. But anyways, yeah, it's going to be a good thing for them, I think, overall. But it's a tough spot because they have the experience in the games. Air Force has been there, done that. And it's the Armed Forces Bowl of all namesake type bowl for them. So, they want to defend their honor, I guess, too. So, but I just, something just hitting me right. This is probably the toughest play for me today. Or for the upcoming next couple games is this one here. I'm still going to be on Madison though. I think Madison gets a win.
And Rodney says his Dukes picked up the head coach from Holy Cross.
Yeah.
Let's review all of Ragoo's action here. We talked NFL and we talked the college football bowl game Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. In the NFL, Doc is on the over 46 -108 Saints Rams. In tonight's Boca Raton Bowl, he's on USF team total over 26.5. He tweeted that out yesterday, and he's adding USF first half money line, which Billy Friedrich found at Bookmaker at +127. Then Ragoo is on the over 66.5 in the Gasparilla Bowl. Of interesting side note for us betting that, because I'd like to join them on that, is that it's dropping right now, but the public will come in tomorrow and hammer the over. Can we get a 66 in the next few hours? But tomorrow it will go back up. So if we want to move on, I think we should wait at some point between the next 8 hours or so to move on it. I need to make sure that I remember that. And then the final spot on the board for Ragoo, James Madison, the Dukes, -1.5 at -110 in the Armed Forces Bowl. This is those are wild games that you have selected, Ragoo, my friend.
Yeah, they are.
Ragoo, please send our love to your fam. You know, I've had the pleasure of meeting Doc Jr. and hung out with Kelly a couple times, man. What a wonderful, wonderful family you have. Please, from all of us at Pub and everybody in the chat, please send them our love and have a Merry Christmas. And we are so thankful to rock with you. And for all of those of you watching right now, getting to sit beside Big Ragoo in San Antonio is worth the whole price of the trip right there. That alone is worth the price of the trip. Ragoo, thank you for rocking with us. Please follow Doc on X at Big Ragoo62. Doc, any last words for the Cappers supporting the show?
Just Merry Christmas. Love everybody back home in San Antonio. Of course, all our great Cappers that we share the screen with all year long. You know, much love. I think we got, you know, the most organic group of guys, you know, Cappers, family, you know, nothing like it in the sports gaming industry right here, Pub Sports Radio. Stay tuned. Better years are coming. A bigger year is coming in 2024, guys. Enjoy the holidays.
I love it. There he is, the Big Ragoo in the house. We move from the gridiron over to college basketball, and the first game that is being capped by our expert is starting at 2 p.m. Eastern. So this will not be part of our best bet video tonight. We're going to skip to the next game. But this game, we have a game popping off in 58 minutes. Please welcome your next guest star of Nerd Talk on the Picks from Dave YouTube channel every Friday night. He also rocks with us on our live streams, and he is our college basketball expert every Thursday right here on Betting with the Bag, now making his home in Arizona by way of California. Please welcome Mr. Dave Rogers to the show. Dave, how are you, my friend?
I'm great. How we doing?
We are doing excellently, and you've got some afternoon action, and there are many of our cappers in the chat craving that very afternoon action that you are going to deliver here. So let me just get things set up for us here and get this going here. While we have you here, while I'm setting things up, did you have a move on the Thursday night football tonight?
I might be back on the under. I might be back on the primetime under. I know that the line is, the total is going the other way. So I'm waiting, but I haven't pulled the trigger yet.
All right. Let's get into this. I'm just moving one more thing here. And then speaking of that, then did you move on the Boca Raton Bowl?
I didn't. Those are the two. So the last two things I couldn't make it after capping, finishing with college basketball last night for these plays. I looked real hard at football, and there are just a bunch of question marks. So I haven't posted or put a bet down on it. But the under, I'm going to say this: the under for the football game, for the NFL is going to happen. The bowl game, I don't know. There's a case for both sides.
Well, let's get right into your action here, because you pop off for us in 57 minutes, a little afternoon action for our cappers in the chat. We're all set up here. Let me just move this over to our cash flow and have that up here, even though some of these games might have a low ticket count. Probably not these afternoon games. They should be locked and loaded here. All right, let's roll. Here we go. Dave Rogers rolling with us. He has picked out 3 games, best bets for him. We start at 2 p.m. Eastern. The Quinnipiac Bobcats, 8-3, 3-2 on the road. At the Lafayette Leopards, 1-10, 1-3 at home. We're in Easton, Pennsylvania. Kirby Sports Center here in Easton, Pennsylvania. I have been to Easton, Pennsylvania. And let's rock. Here we go. We're going to be using Bet Online's opening lines and closing lines as they get out first to the marketplace. And shout out to Bet Online. If you guys are interested in opening up a new account, go to our website, pubsportsradio.com. If it's a new account and you hit our link, they will give you 100% bonus up to $1,000. Let's start with the spread here. This opened up with Quinnipiac -1.5, which is a very fishy opening line for a team that's 8-3 going up against a team that's 1-10. It opens up at 1.5 and it moves to 3, and it doesn't move right away. It moved from 1.5 to 2.5 at BetOnline. That took 5 hours and 14 minutes. Then it moved up to 3 and now 3.5, which I guess is what we should have expected. The question is, why would it have started in that manner? From a total standpoint, we are sitting here with a 139. This opened up at 138.5. It got up to 139.5, then back to 138.5. It's a half-point move to the over, just a half-point move to the over. And then when we get to the cash flow, we have 51% of the tickets and 61% of the cash on Lafayette. If this line wasn't moving, clearly the market would be telling us that would be the look. We have 66% tickets and 86% cash on the under, and the line's not moving towards the under. Quinnipiac bounced back from its 7-point loss to Yale by beating Holy Cross 77-57 on Monday. The wild thing about these Leopards is they haven't played in 12 days. They've been off for 12 days. So Quinnipiac, we just saw them in action, 5.5-point favorites. They look good. They went into Holy Cross, a weak opponent. It hasn't won a game at home all year, and beat them by 20. For Lafayette, they've been losing and losing and losing. We last saw them 12 days ago at home against LaSalle. They were in that game until the fourth or till the second half, maybe 5 or 6 minutes in the second half. They were just 4.5-point dogs, and they lost by 16 in front of 1,000 people in Easton, Pennsylvania. Take it away for us here, Dave. This is our 2 p.m. afternoon action opportunity for us. Quinnipiac, Lafayette. Floor is yours, my man.
Yeah, where it opened is kind of crazy because I liken Holy Cross to Lafayette in a lot of ways. And there's going to be a theme with this team and a team in the next game I'm going to cover. Lafayette is just plain ass. They can't score. They score less than 60 points a game, 59.9. That's 354 out of 362 teams in the country. They give up almost 74 points a game. That's just below average at 214. But their effective field goal percentage is 44, and their free throws is 68%. Just horrible on offense. And bad on defense, but just absolutely horrible on offense. And they've won one game all season. They've won one, and it was against Wilkes College or Wilkes University. It's a Division II team, if that, maybe Division III team. Who knows who the hell they are? But that's the only game they've won. And since then, they've covered once and covered by 1 point against not very good teams that I think that compete with Quinnipiac. And on the other hand, when you look at Quinnipiac and their stats, there's a couple that stand out. It's kind of back and forth. Their defense isn't great. They give up 74 points, but they score 75 points a game, which is 126 in the country. And the biggest part, and this is a big part of covering spreads, especially smaller spreads like this, is they're 7th in the country at free throw shooting. They're almost 80%. When they get to that free shot, they make it. And you've heard me say it a million times, and I'll keep saying it. Most important thing to covering spreads in college basketball. And that's why they've covered the last 3 or 4. I think this line is way too short. And it has gone up. We talk about it opening at 1.5. I see 4s out there. There's some 3.5s. I'll take the best line I can get, but I'm going to lay the points with the Bobcats.
Laying the points with Quinnipiac. The fact that this would open up at the 1.5 that makes me nervous. Now that the fact the line's gone with you is at least calming there, but this is just a crazy number. You're right. There are 4s now. This line's been moving briskly because it was 3.5 earlier. Let's go over right to Penny and see what they are dropping here. If we can get you a 3.5 here so that the 4 can be a win and not a push. We have, so move this up here. We go. No, it can't. That minus, and it's even the 4 is getting juiced now. Quinnipiac's just getting hammered.
I've got 3.5s at FanDuel and DraftKings.
Oh, beautiful. What juice?
15.
Okay, perfect. Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Thank you. All right, Dave has moved on Quinnipiac here. Minus 3.5 at minus 115 locked and loaded. Let's move on to the next spot on the board for Dave. That is at 7 p.m. Eastern, the Buffalo Bulls. Here's another team, 1-9 on the season that struggled mightily, 0-2 on the road. The Richmond Spiders, 6-5, but undefeated at the Robins Center in Richmond, Virginia. Take a look at the line history here for this one. We have Richmond sitting right now as 15.5-point favorites, opening up as 17-point favorites, and it dropped to 15.5 last night. So this opened up at 3:30 p.m. and by 8:14 p.m. it was at 15.5. A little bit of buyback, and then it's come back to that 15.5. So we've had a 1.5 move towards the Bulls. Let's take a look at what's going on with the total here. So sorry, I gotta refresh this from a total perspective. In this one, we have, come on, here we go. We have it sitting right now at BetOnline at 141. This opened up at 143.5, got up to 144 before it started dropping. So we're sitting here at a 141. Cash-wise, you have 19% of the tickets on the Buffalo Bulls, but 60% of the cash. We're only talking about 942 tickets. So it looks like big bets have come in on Buffalo. They've moved it a 1.5. On the total, 20% of tickets are on the under, and 37% of cash is on that under. Robert Franklin here says that Richmond -20 says Buffalo also straight ass. Billy Friedrich says Buffalo one of the worst first half teams in the country. Smoke and Mirror says Spiders smash, and shout out to Richmond, Virginia, home of our Smoke and Mirrors. So let's just take a quick setup here for you guys. Buffalo has been losing and losing and losing. Here's another team that hasn't played in 12 days. So both of these horrific basketball teams have been off for a long time, practicing, maybe improving, who knows. They lost at Butler and looked okay, lost at Butler by 13. They came back 12 days ago and lost at home to Western Kentucky by 17. Richmond bounced back from those two losers, Northern Iowa and Florida. No shame in losing to Florida. They beat up on Charlotte. They beat up on Charlotte on Saturday. They beat them 64-56 at home as 4.5-point favorites. Even in that win, they shot horribly from three, 17.6%, but they only turned the ball over 5 times, while Charlotte turned the ball over 14 times. Take it away for us here, Dave. Your second spot on the board, the Bulls at the Spiders.
Yeah, I said the theme for these two games is you have a couple teams that are just straight ass, and Buffalo is straight ass, and they score a little bit more than Lafayette, 65 points per game. It's still bottom 20%, and they shoot free throws around the same 69, still under 70, which is bad. But they have some very notably bad statistics, and the two are they give up 81.8 points per game. That's 332nd, bottom 10% in the country. And we talked about turnovers, how Richmond got a bunch of turnovers last game. Well, this Buffalo team is 354th in the country, 9th worst out of 362 teams at turning the ball over. They're just sloppy. And Richmond obviously is better statistically in every category. So I won't go through all of that, but I will say one significant thing about this large line, and that is Richmond has been a double-digit favorite 4 times this year. Covered every time, and all 4 of those times were against teams that I think are better than Buffalo: VMI, Siena, Queen's University, and William and Mary. So, I mean, if it's not obvious, I'm laying the wood, the big line. I'm laying it. We're going with Richmond. Go Spiders.
Interesting spot. So, God, these horrible teams off of 12 days off to practice. I'm very curious to see how this bangs out. We have right now on the spread, we can get Dave the Richmond Spiders -15.5, -108 at Heritage, -112 at Pinnacle. So we'll get you Richmond full game -15.5 at -108, locked and loaded. We had Joseph Thompson, jump into the chat, give us his 2 favorite model plays: Stony Brook, Michigan State over 137, Jacksonville State, Arkansas, Little Rock over 141. Let's go into the final spot here on the board for Dave Rogers. This is popping off at 10 p.m. Eastern, and that is Hofstra at the running Rebels. Hofstra Pride 7-4, 1-3 on the road. UNLV 4-5, 2-1 at the Thomas and Mack Center in Las Vegas, Nevada. From a spread perspective, UNLV sitting at -4. They opened up at -5, and this dropped down to 3.5 last night at 10:30 p.m. before there was buyback, up to 4.5 now at an even 4 buyback on the Pride. Take a look at the total here for this one. We are sitting here. Sorry, I'm going to get down to the bottom. This total right now is sitting at 140.5. It's juiced heavily to the over at BetOnline, but this opened up at 142.5. So we have dropped 2 points, or maybe a legit 1.5. From a cash flow standpoint here, we have here we go. God damn, too many games have already started. That's why. That's the problem. Here we go. We have no information on the total. Only 840 tickets in, but 73% of the tickets, 72% of the cash is on Hofstra. That makes sense because there's been a point move towards them. Here we go, Dave. Your final spot on the board in Las Vegas, Nevada, where we all want to be. Rebels at home to the Pride. What's the plan?
Yeah, I was trying to look to see. I didn't have on my notes that this is in Hawaii, but I guess that no, it's at the Mack Center, Thomas Mack Center. The reason why it's so late is it's a West Coast game, was that comment by Robert Martin. But either way, these two teams are very average teams, in my opinion. So we're not going with a team that's straight ass. But this play in this game is on the total. And the reason why is there's nothing on the injury report. And if these two teams perform anywhere near where they have, this game should go over, even though the total's coming down. Hofstra scores 76.6 points per game. UNLV scores 73. Both of those are above average. Their effective field goal percentage for Hofstra 56%, 52 for UNLV, and they give up. I'd say their averages are their defenses are average to slightly below average. Hofstra gives up 72 a game, and UNLV gives up 73 a game. UNLV's gone over 7 of its last 9 games, and Hofstra's gone under 3 of its last 4 games. But even in those 4 games, they average 71 points per game. If UNLV is a 4.5 point favorite and they're averaging 71 points per game in games that are going under, then that's going to get us over the total. I don't think this flies over the total. I think this is at 145. That's what I think. 144.
Let's lock this in for you. See if we can get you a 140.5 without the VIG. And I don't know if we can. I think it might end up being a 141 unless we want to pay for the 140.5. Unless you could, is there one on your books? Let me see. 140.5.
I saw one. Okay. So FanDuel it moved. Well, that's wrong game. Sorry, wrong game. Let me pull this up.
I can get you a. Oh, I can't get. Well,
yeah. DraftKings has 140.5 at -112.
Okay, cool. That's 4 cents better than Pinnacle. So let's get it for you. All right. The over 140.5 -112 for Dave Rogers. That's Hofstra UNLV. So Dave has Quinnipiac -3.5 at -115. That game starts in 42 minutes. He's got Richmond -15.5 at -108. And let's put this here. And we have the over 140.5 in Hofstra UNLV. Dave, thank you for rolling with us, my friend. Looks like we're not going to have NFL live streams for me in a little while, but we have tonight's big one hosted by Mikey Money, and I hope to see you on that one, my friend. And Nerd Talk every Friday night on the Picks from Dave YouTube channel. Dave, my friend, please follow him on Picks from Dave on X at Picks from Dave. Dave, any last words for the Cappers supporting the show, my friend?
No, well, yeah. Merry Christmas, everybody. Happy holidays. I know the programming on this channel is going to be lighter than it usually is. But I will see you on Thursday. And then on Friday on my channel, Nerd Talk, we will have a Friday show. And then I'll be there tonight is the plan. And thanks for having me. And I'll see everybody next Thursday. Are we on for next Thursday?
Yes.
Okay.
Next Thursday, of course. Yeah, definitely. There's no Betting with the Bag. Be Wednesday, Thursday, Friday next week. Everything's good there. And Bankroll Blitz will be on Tuesday the 26th, and we are going to have an NFL Pub Hub on New Year's Eve, the morning of New Year's Eve. So all that will be going here as according to plan. But But great job, Dave, my man. Thank you for rocking with us.
Thanks. See ya.
There he is, Dave Rogers in the house. All right, our next guest swept the board last night, 4-0 to improve his record to 19-9 on the season. And he's come to deliver one spot to get us paid before we get into NBA. 19-9 on the show. 67.9% plus 9.38 units. ROI plus 33.5%. Average line minus 110. He cashed with Duke minus 1.5. He got us on the double dip on North Carolina minus 1 first half. He got minus 1.5 full game. He tweeted out earlier. And he cashed with Arizona minus 6.5. 4-0 board sweepage. And he's come to deliver right here, right now. Please welcome from Dallas, Texas, star of Medicate Mondays every Monday here at 11 a.m. Eastern. Also the star of our big NCAA basketball live stream that goes right after the Jeff Nadu show. That will be this week popping off at 12 p.m. Eastern. So they start at 11:45 a.m. and that will be Butler and Providence, the Friars. So Nasty Nate will be freaking out for that one. Butler and Providence live stream. And there's other interesting action going on at that time. Please welcome from Dallas, Texas, our friend, Dabra Cadabra. Dabby, how are you?
Good, Jimmy. Good, man. It feels good to sweep, but, we get right over it and get moving because we got to win again today. That wasn't the first sweep, and it won't be the last sweep this season. I told you guys we're going to make money all year. It's what we're here to fucking do. So let's get to it.
I love it. Excellent work. And you are focusing on one game this evening, and it is an interesting one. Wichita State Shockers hit the road to the Kansas State Wildcats. We're at T-Mobile Center in Kansas City, Missouri. This total opened up at 144.5, and it's now up to 146. We've climbed 1.5. And from a point spread perspective, let's get over here. Again, this game popping off at 8:30 p.m. Eastern. A big one here. We have sitting at Kansas State minus 5.5 at minus 107. They opened up at 5.5. They got up to 6 for a little while, around 1 in the morning, around midnight, 1 in the morning, and it's back at 5.5. So we've had no movement on the side. We've had a slight move to the over cash flow wise. Let's see what we are getting here from the cash flow. 70% of the tickets are on Wichita State and 55% of the cash. Interesting. So you have the public on Wichita State as a dog, and the line is not moving. That's only 1,604 tickets, though. Then from a total perspective, 57% of tickets and 87% cash is on the over. Wichita State lost to Missouri. Then they lose to South Dakota State. They didn't look very good, and I don't know if beating Southern Illinois Salukis is really a bounce back. They were 4.5-point favorites. It was at home, and they snuck the win by a point. Over for Kansas State, they had a nice-looking winning streak. Now, in the winning streak, they had 3 straight overtime victories as part of their 5-game winning streak. But they beat LSU in LSU, which was impressive. And then they came home and played Nebraska and looked bad. This was their last spot. It was back on Sunday, the 17th. They were 4.5-point favorites, and they scored 12 points in the second half. 12. They shot 26.7% from the field and 13.3% from 3. I like the idea of them bouncing back in this spot. I like the idea of the public on Wichita State. But let's have the man who's hitting just under 70% on the season here on the show tell us what he is moving on. Take it away, Daby Cab. Wichita State, Kansas State.
Yeah, both these teams have some players that can score. Anytime I'm looking at a game, I like to have multiple people that can score. Wichita State, they're going to be led by their junior guard, Colby Rogers. He's averaging 17.3 points per game. Then you look down the line, Xavier Bell, 14.9. Beverly's averaging 10.5 points per game. So, they can score, averaging 77.5 points per game. That's 126 in the nation as a team. A little bit slower pace because they are doing it on 44.6% shooting. That's 194th. So, 33% from 3. They're average as can be, right? Kansas State, you said it. They're coming off a bad loss. I mean, they got just pounded in that game against Nebraska. And what's funny is I almost bet Kansas State first half. And I tell you what, they would have covered that first half. That's how bad, you said it, that 12-point second half was. Kansas State, they're led by their junior guard also, 2 junior guards leading the way in this game. Cam Carter, he's putting up 16.5 points per game. He's getting 5.3 boards, so he's attacking the glass also. Then you got Tyler Perry, 15.7. You can go through it. They've got a couple of players that average over 14 points per game, which is nice to see, 3 of them to be exact. Both these teams offensively look to match up about the same. Here's the thing. I think the Wildcats come back here, like you said. I think this is a good bounce back spot off of, the most disappointing possible for performance they could have had against the Cornhuskers. I think a lot of people might have been on the Wildcats because maybe they expected more out of them there and lost money. They shot just 26.7%, which including 4 from 30 from 3 in that game. Just absolutely atrocious. So a key to this game right here is going to be able to, if the Wildcats can establish a low post presence early and often in this game, where they shoot nearly 65% at the rim, I think that they're going to do good. I think they'll be able to control the pace, control this game. And for that reason, I got the Wildcats back and bouncing back right here. You can line shop for me right now. I didn't tweet anything out yet, so we'll be locking in right here.
I like this look a lot. And I want to join you. And I want to double up here. Billy Friedrich is on the Shockers first half +3. Billy, could you let us know why you are on the Shockers first half +3? Because I love the idea of them bouncing back here. I think this just makes perfect sense. We've heard there's a 5 at -110 at Circa. I don't see any 5s here in the offshore market. Oh, yes, at Bet Online, but it's -115. Interesting. I guess I went to Pinnacle for the line history. Let me go back to Bet Online. What have they done with this? They opened this up at 4.5. This got up to 6.5 last night until there was buyback. I like this here. So do you want full game?
Yeah, I'll take full game. Is my mic good? Jose said check my mic. Is it good? Was I good?
I'm not sure. It did sound not quite as clear as generally. Is it plugged? Do we have it in for sure? Let's hear what Jose. Yeah, it sounds like you're using your computer.
Oh shit, man!
It's all good.
My bad.
It's all good. -5 at -110. And Billy, I'd love to hear why you are on the other side. Look at those college basketball records. We are combined 38-17 on official picks here. Let's keep that rolling. Daby Cab comes in and drops Kansas State full game -5. I want to join you on it. I love the idea of the bounce back. I love it. I love how bad they looked in the second half. And it wasn't that long ago. I guess maybe you'd prefer them to have played Saturday, but they played Sunday. Who cares? I love it. Billy Friedrich says Wichita State rebounds the ball really well. The main reason, and State starts off slow first half. Interesting. Coin says he could only play K-State here if involved. And Justin McKelvey going to join on K-State. I love the bounce back spot here. So there we go. Kansas State full game -5 at -110. So you have a Butler Providence on Saturday amongst other games, but that will be the focus game here for you guys on Saturday. And love it, man. Daby Cab, thank you for joining. Stay hot. Coming off 4-0 board sweepage yesterday. Stay hot. Get that cash. Do you have any last words here for the Cappers Sporting Show and anything you want them to know about moving forward?
Oh, man. Pub Sports Radio right here. Pubapalooza 3. Get there if you can. Listen to what our guy Darryl says coming up next because he's going to bring you a bag. You see it right there. March 22nd through the 24th. We're all coming in a little early, so if you can get there a little early, get there early. It's going to be a blast, Jimmy. I can't wait, man. We love you guys. Billy, Coin, Dylan, Ramon, everybody in the chat. Justin, TJ. Can't wait to see you guys there. Let's get some fucking money tonight, Jimmy.
Get some fucking money. There he is, our guy, Daby Cab, running real nice in college hoops. Let's bring on your next guest and get into NBA. Your next guest looking strong. 13-9, 59.1%, plus 3.28 units, ROI plus 14.91%, average line plus 100. Tell you what, we're in season 3 with our next guest, and he's only won. He was at 60, just under 60% in season 1. Last year, he was our number 1 NBA capper amongst our experts, on-screen experts. And sitting here with an ROI plus 14.91% and an average line at even money to start this year. Please welcome from Los Angeles, California, we have Darryl Rice in the house. What's up, Darryl? How are you?
Yo, what is good, Jay? Happy to be back, man. Happy to be back, brother. It is Thursday. Peace and love to everybody in the chat. Low back family, what is good? Appreciate y'all, man. As I always say, any day on this side of the grass is a
good day. It's a good day.
Fucking day.
And you are running nice. So let's get right to work. I've got to set a couple of things up here so that I'm ready to rock. So yesterday was a very, very tricky day. I thought the markets helped enormously, but regardless, it was an extremely tricky, difficult day. And I was lucky to get off of Sacramento. That market made no sense whatsoever. One thing that I'm finding here, and I'd like you to touch on this. I'm finding fading teams on the first game of a back-to-back has been working spectacular for me. And I should start just backing teams on the second half of a back-to-back instead of fading them because it seems like the coaches are really taking care to make sure that they're ready to go on the second game. What do you think of that?
Yeah, that seems like you shouldn't do it, right? I mean, the rule has always been to fade them on the second game of back-to-back. I mean, that's what we would normally do in the past. But yeah, that seems like a pretty good strategy, Jay. So I just feel now, you are right about coaches having their players more prepared, their players a little more suited to play back-to-backs, knowing when to rest them, knowing when to play them, to where some of these scenarios, it doesn't matter. It used to matter. It felt like it used to matter some years ago. But now with new rules in play and stuff like that, teams are not manipulating the schedule as much as they could, say, before these rules had come out or the NBA new rules that came out. So I don't know. We'll see if this continues to go forward.
It was wild. What did you think of your Lakers last night?
They're fucking old. They're old and Lakers haven't looked good, man, since they had their fucking participation trophy in Vegas, right? So when I look at this team and I'm like, okay, yeah, this team is definitely going to be able to go far in the playoffs. I don't see really anybody beating them in 7 games. I mean, that's just me being a fan, and they should not have lost to the Bulls, bro. The Bulls are not a good team at all. They're not really good. And we cashed with Kobe White, but if you looked at his number, the books are adjusting his number, but he didn't hit it yesterday. So it's not like he went off for his combined PRA where we'd make money. They still suck in the first quarter. They're still fucking garbage in the first quarter. So when I look at this Lakers team, man, I don't know how to gauge them. They are old. Then they got smacked by San Antonio, and that was the game that really opened my eyes when I saw them get smacked by San Antonio. So I don't know how to gauge them. I'm smart enough this year. I tell you this, Jay, I'm smart enough this year to know not to play them motherfuckers. I know that without a shadow of a doubt. And this is like if you're looking at the LA game, I looked at it against the Timberwolves. I'm like, yep, they getting smacked, right? So yeah, I'm staying off of them until I see them kind of get it together. Defensively, they're there. They've got it. They've got all the right pieces to play good defense, but they're just not dropping shots.
It was a minefield yesterday, and I ended up just 1-2, which upset me. But let's get to work here and get that cash. Couple things here from the chat. Our guy Ricky Levine saying, "You guys have hotels booked already? Do we book hotels ourselves?" Says he's looking for a nice place. Ricky Levine, hit me on Twitter. We have our guy Matty Ice. He's got a deal with the spectacular, like a Fairmont. That's about $350, $400 a night, and it's like I think it's close to 50% off his deal, but he only can do it for 3 or 4 people. So hit me if you want a really nice place to stay. We all do Airbnbs down there, right around the bar. The hotels are expensive. They weren't the first year, but that was because of the pandemic, and we all got COVID. But they're now expensive again, and So we just go to Airbnb right around the bar because
Yeah.
we're never in the hotel. Like you sleep there. That's it. There's nothing else happening there.
I got to look up Ragoo this year because I know he had a good Airbnb. So
They're great Airbnbs.
This is definite. I'm no bullshit, Jimmy. I will be there, so I can't wait.
Love it. I love it. And there's our guy Sun Dizzle. He's in Los Angeles right now. He will be at the football game tonight. Sun Dizzle, I am moving on your Saints when the show ends at +4, and Ragoo is on the over. So let's roll here. Let's get to work. We have our guy Darryl rolling with us. We start at 7 p.m. Eastern for the Utah Jazz at the Detroit Pistons. These Jazz 10-18, 2-13 on the road. At the Pistons, 2-25, 1-12 at home. We've already heard the stacks play of the day from our guy Justin McKelvey. That is the Pistons -103s on the Pistons money line. Utah 3-2 over their past 5, playing the pace of 98.90 possessions a game. That's good for 18th in the NBA. Detroit, of course, 0-5. They haven't won in a long time, a very, very long time.
Very fucking long time.
And some people would say to Justin, why on earth? There's Julian Cesario in the house, another LA cat. Some would say why, and TJ saying that I won't have any +4s available. I have one still right now. Okay, I'll bet this here while we're capping NBA. But some would say, why would you, Justin, try to catch a falling knife? And I would then say our very own Jose Bouquet did just that with the Spurs. He took the Spurs money line against the Lakers and went and watched them cash in person. So I don't think it's
Jose would do some shit like that out of spite. He really would. He really would. I know he looked at that game. He's like, fuck it. Yep, that's Daryl's squad. You know what? I'm betting fucking Spurs money line. I don't give a shit. I know it.
He's trying to make money. So, yes, Markkanen is out. So is Horton Tucker. So is George. So is Clarkson. So is here at 7. So Fontecchio, Sexton, Dunn, 3-2-1. Collins at the 4 and Walker Kessler at the 5. For the Pistons, Duran out, Morris out, Hayes a game time decision. So a lot of moving parts here. Let's get into the line history. This has got Detroit as a favorite. Detroit opened +1.5. They're now sitting -2 at -108. They did get up to -2.5. From a total perspective here, we are sitting at a 235. This opened up at 238 and it dropped down to 235. Let's take a look at the cash flow then for this spot. We have 33% of the tickets on the Pistons, now 34%, and 94% of the cash on the Detroit Pistons. Then we have 69% of the tickets and 96% of the cash on the under. Here we go. Pistons coming off a tough 130-124 loss. It was the first time they looked good since that Pacers game. So they looked like trash 3 in a row, and then they looked pretty good. They lose 130-124. That was on Monday evening. Jazz on the second half of a back-to-back after losing 124-116 at Cleveland. And that was another minefield. That was another spot I would have been on the Jazz if it wasn't for the chat.
Yeah.
The chat really saved me there yesterday. Take it away for us here, Darryl. BJ says this line smells. TJ holding Detroit +1.5 says probably going to dump half of it. Take it away for us, Darryl. Jazz Pistons.
Yeah, I don't have a play on this game at all. I don't give a shit about this game at all. Detroit's favorite for a reason. I just think Detroit doesn't want to be part of history as being a team with the most consecutive losses. They lose this, I think they pass the Cleveland Cavaliers. I believe so. I was reading the preview for this game, and you got the Cavaliers who have the most losses. You had the 76ers, I believe, who have the record at 28. This is the Cavaliers or Philly. I'm not sure. At any rate, I think Detroit is the right side. They're favorites. Are they? I mean, Detroit just seems like this should be the side to play. I don't know if narratives mean anything for this game, but no one wants to be in the record books for the most losses. And so when you have the Jazz who just come off a back-to-back, a grueling game actually, where it looks like the player to play in the Cavs when we talk about that game is Steve Merrill. So looking at this game here, it is what you would call, Jimmy, a bum fight, in my opinion. But Jazz should win this game. I feel that this, or excuse me, Detroit should win this game. This seems like this is a spot where they don't want to be in, to where they'll be in the record books. So I'm just thinking from a narrative perspective here. No good handicap on this game here. Won't even play it.
Yeah, I wonder if, God, are we leaving money on the table? I don't know if we are.
It'd be different if it was 3 games, Jay. It'd be different if it was 3 or 4 games today, but there's a couple of the spots you can move on. And I mean, the card is pretty decent, but yeah, that was one game where I'm like, nah, I'm good.
All right, let's roll on. I just moved on the Saints +4, locked -110, bet 365. I'm in. All right, let's move on to the next spot on the board. I do have some interest in the Pistons, but I'm not going to sit here and hum and haw. I'm going to study it after the show. Let's move on to the next spot on the board, and that is 7:30 p.m. Eastern. The New Orleans Pelicans in business here, 16-12, 7-7 on the road at the Cleveland Cavaliers, 16-12, 9-6 at home. We're Rocket Mortgage Fieldhouse in Cleveland, Ohio. Pelicans 4-1 over the past 5, playing at a faster pace, 102.30 possessions. That's good for 7th in the league over that last 5-game stretch. The Cleveland Cavaliers 3-2, 96.39 possessions a game. That's 28th in the league. Cleveland guard Spider Mitchell is out, says Ramon Scott. Mitchell is out here for this one. It's game time decision here listed, but out, says Ramon. And Garland out, Jerome out, Mobley out. And we, at this point, it sounds like whatever's going on with Rubio, he's not coming back to to play basketball anymore. It looks
they're
like
shopping him, right? They're shopping.
Well, no,
him
he's not. He's got mental health stuff going on. I don't know what's going on, but he's not. I doubt he plays this season, at least.
Yeah.
So for the Pelicans, Nance out, Zeller game time decision, Zion, who's been dealing with a sickness, game time decision, Valanciunas game time decision. And this is horrible dealing with this. Very difficult to be able to, put together a plan. What we know is the Cavs looked excellent last night. Without Spider, they won 124-116. That's their 3rd straight victory. They're playing better ball. The Pelicans didn't play last night. They played on Tuesday, and they lost at home to Memphis 115-113 to snap their winning streak. Let's take a look at the line history here right now. We'll start with the total. This total sitting at 229 right now. Sitting at 228. It just dropped 3 minutes ago. Got to refresh this. It's dropped 3 minutes ago to 228. So we have a 1-point move towards the under. And from a point spread perspective, this is sitting at -3.5 for the Pelicanos. The Pelicanos opened up at +1.5. So just like the first game when the Pistons went from dog to favorite, here the Pelicans have done the same thing. We have a 5-point move on the Pelicans. They've gone from +1.5 to -3.5. Yeah. Just a huge, monstrous move. We look at the cash. 80 now. It just changed. 79% of the tickets, 83% of cash on the Pelicans, and 48% of tickets, and 81% cash on the over. Take it away here for us, Darryl. Pelicans, Cavaliers.
Yeah, so I was going straight to Merrill's points. I don't have a number yet. Does anybody have a number on Steve Merrill's PRA or his points?
I will take a look and
I
see.
think that's the only thing I could look at. Honestly, this is a Pelican spot. What's weird to me is just the news coming out about Zion's. It was on it wasn't a parody site. It was NBA Central, I believe, talking about Zion's money not being guaranteed. And when I look at that, I just feel like there's distraction with the Pelicans, but it's also trying to light a fire under their ass, if you ask me. So I didn't want to play this game as well. Only thing I wanted to play was Merrill's points, rebounds, and assists. I think he has a good game. That guy is from Utah. I think he played at Utah State. Utah or not? I'm thinking of another guy actually. I'm sorry. Steve Merrill should go off. That's the guy and I don't see any points for Cleveland as of yet. So, do you have any points whatsoever for Steve Merrill?
No, it's all the Cavs are off the board right now.
Yeah. That's the only way I would play the game, is just to play Steve Merrill's points. It looked like he went off. And right now, with the Cavaliers a little decimated, not having their players, New Orleans not having players as well, I just think the only way I could look at it is to play someone's props. And the hot hand right now is the Merrill guy. So that's the only way I would go, is with his points. Other than that, I don't have a play on this game either. It looks like it should be a Pell spot. When you see a line flip like that, it's crazy, you know? So if you haven't got on it early enough, then maybe you've kind of missed the steam. And that's I feel like I've missed it here. So I feel if you're going to play this game, maybe get in early with the Pelicans and get out. But for right now, it's a no play for me unless I see what Merrill's points are.
And then we got to see what's going on with the sickness going through the Pelicans locker room. Clearly, with the market move, they're saying that it's fine, nothing to worry about. But and which you can have faith in. But I'm in agreement with you. Even that move to the Pistons from dog to favorite, which is a little bit smaller, just 1 point, is still like I feel just late to the party. So no action for me in Pelicans, Cavs. Darryl waiting for Merrill props, and he can tweet them out and tag me anytime. Let's move on to the next spot on the board. 8 p.m. Eastern, San Antonio Spurs 4-22, 2-10 on the road at Chicago Bulls 11-17, 7-7 at home at United Center in Chicago, Illinois. We have the Spurs 1-4 over their past 5, playing at the second fastest pace in the NBA, 105.9 possessions a game over the 5-game stretch. And the opposite end of the spectrum for the Bulls, 96.3 possessions a game. They are 29th in the league. This is wild. The Spurs getting 9.6 more possessions a game than the Bulls. That's an enormous number here. Let's take a look at the line history for this spot. These Spurs are right now plus 6 points. They opened up plus 4.5. Moved to 5, now at 6, 5.5, 6, and it's 6 at a pick'em. So we have a big move towards these Chicago Bulls. From a total standpoint, we're sitting at a 228.5. This opened up at 230.5. It's dropped 2 points to 228.5. So we have a move to the under and a move to the Chicago Bulls, who are on the second half of a back-to-back. They looked excellent last night. A 124-108 victory. They've won 3 of their last 4, and those wins are against the Heat, Sixers, and the Lakers. The Spurs they fell right back to earth after that win against the Lakers. The Pelicans came in and beat them by 36. But they played on Tuesday at Milwaukee and lost 132-119. Let's take a look at the cash flow then for the spot here. We have 90% of the tickets and 96% of the cash on the Chicago Bulls, 54% of tickets on the over, and we have no cash information and no changes. It looks like White, Caruso, DeRozan, Williams, and Vooch starting 5. Wembanyama, Vassell, and Johnson game time decisions for the Spurs. Huge pieces to the puzzle for this week Spurs squad. Take it away for us here, Darryl. Spurs, Bulls.
Bulls third to last, first quarter scoring, first quarter ATS. So you know what we do with that, right? You know what we do with that. Right now, Spurs 6th in the league, 6th in the league in first quarter ATS. And right now you have them as dogs. So this is 2 things you could do here. This is the first play I've already made official. San Antonio plus 1.5 first quarter. I believe it's just easy money. You have the rest. I believe Chicago is still not a good team. They beat the Lakers, and you know how I feel about that. But I think the Spurs are going to give them a little run for their money, especially early. I believe, let me see here if I look at the preview of the last game they played, head-to-head, last game they played December 8th. Bulls got them 121-112, but San Antonio smacked them in the first quarter, 33-24. I believe it happens again. It's just the Bulls are not good in the first quarter whatsoever. So give me San Antonio Spurs plus 1.5. That's what I've already stepped on. To add more, I guess, plus money here, what do you have for San Antonio -1 in the first quarter?
Well, I will look, but I can tell you that you can get a +2 if you want as well.
Let's do it. Okay.
That's pretty nice.
Let's do it.
Okay.
Yeah, Joe, good thing. Yeah, I did see that. I did see something where it said Bulls were 9-1 ATS in the last 10. That's fine. Just look at their first quarter scoring. It's absolutely trash.
+2 -108. +2 at -108.
Wait, do you have an alt line at San Antonio -1?
Yes, I can. Let's get that for you right now. Here we go. We have the Spurs first quarter alt line -1 is +170.
Let's do it. Both of those. Both of
Wow.
those. San Antonio -1 first quarter, San Antonio +2 first quarter. This is a game where they're rested. They've had time to practice. They've had time to scheme and game plan. Look at the scouting reports here. Bulls coming off of a back-to-back. They start off slow. Third worst scoring team in the league right now when it comes to first quarter scoring and first quarter ATS. So San Antonio is going to get the job done early. Now, will they fizzle out like they do in the second half of games? Probably so. Not sure. They are playing better defense as of late, and Wemby is starting to get a little better hang of the game. I just like San Antonio in this spot here. I think this is a perfect spot. Give me both of those numbers. I'm more than sure that they should hit.
You are locked in. We move on. Next up for us, Pacers, Grizzlies. We talk about, what upset me last night. It was such a minefield in NBA that, we had a winning day overall in sports, 5-3, up 1.8 units, and that's all I asked for. But it was such a mistake not being on the Pacers. They were an angry group. I mean, when you go up against the Hornets, you need, when you go up against any horrible basketball team, you need your team to have real, legitimate focus and anger, and know that they're not going to take the team lightly. And that was a perfect spot. Pacers had lost 4 straight. Actually, I guess 5 if you look back to the Lakers game. But that loss against the Bucks hurt them. Then they followed that with loss against the Wizards. It was just a terrible, terrible spot for the Hornets because the Pacers were an angry group being disrespected in the marketplace. Here, the Grizzlies stopped their losing streak with that 115-113 win at New Orleans. Obviously, we've been waiting for Ja to come back, and he came back with a flourish and scored the game-winning bucket. Let's take a look at the line history here for this one. Ja's itching to get back in, and is probably feeling it in his legs as well. I mean, whether or not he's in game shape could be discussed and argued, but he looked excellent, no doubt about it. Right now, though, there's been a market move towards these Pacers. Grizzlies open up at -4. They go to 3.5. They go to 3. They drop to 2.5. And we have Smart, Game Time, Decision, and Rose, Kennard, and Clark out. For the Pacers, Turner and Nembhard are Game Time decisions. So we have this move towards the Pacers from 4 to 2.5. And total-wise, we're sitting at a 247.5, -111 to the under. This opened up at 247. It got up to 248. Then we saw buyback all the way to 246.5. But now it's sitting at 247.5. So we still have a half-point move to the over. Let's take a look at what's going on here in the cash flow for this one. We have 69% of the tickets and 72% of the cash on the Grizzlies. The line's moving towards the Pacers. 87% of tickets, 79% cash on the over. Take it away for us here, Darryl. Pacers, Grizzlies at FedEx Forum.
Yeah. So hear me out with this. I was talking to my pops about Ja, and I was also listening to some commentary about Ja and really kind of getting back into the swing of things with the game. Now, it may not sound like a sensible thing to say. It may not even really make sense, but if you look at it, it kind of sounds right. With Ja, we were talking about his PRA, his points. Ja's first game back, those points were at 25.5. Right. And so we were thinking that's a lot of damn points for someone who hasn't played all year. Right. Why would the books have his points at 25? On top of that, it was juiced to the over, which means probably those points maybe started off a little lower and got bet up. Right. So listening to some commentary, it made a lot of sense. And that is, commentary was saying Ja isn't really an outside shooter. he drives to the basket, and he draws fouls. So with him driving to the basket is not as hard to get your shot off as if you were shooting from the outside, being a spot-up shooter or ISO player, shooting threes or whatever like that. He's going to be a lot quicker to be driving the ball down the middle in the paint, drawing fouls, getting the ball, meeting people at the rim, and so forth. So it made sense to me then why his points would be so high. And that's exactly what Ja did. Ja just drove to the basket, which means it doesn't take as much skill. Now, just for lack of a better word, it doesn't take as much skill to do that than it does to be a marksman from the outside, to be a corner three-point shooter or shoot from the top of the key or whatever. If you're just driving to the rim, you're going to have an easier shot or even draw a foul being closer to the basket than you are if you're shooting on the outside. So with all that said, you saw Ja be ball dominant, have the ball in his hands, and eventually hit the game winner, right, and win the game. I feel that that's got to be the game plan for this Grizzlies team to cover as much ground as they need to cover, even if they want to make the play-in. So I think at this point, until other teams start fizzling out or losing more games, every game for the Grizzlies is a must-win game. Every game for the Grizzlies is a must-win game, or they just really have no shot at it. So Ja's already been practicing with the team, right? Does he continue to be ball dominant? And if he is ball dominant and scoring a lot of points, then I feel that that lessens the value of the players around him. So you can look at other players' points, and they should probably be stooping under, right? You should see less points from everybody else, from the players around them, making that adjustment now to Ja having the ball in his hands, shooting the majority of the shots, and looking at Ja's points going up. So the only way I can look at this game, I'm saying all that to say this should be a Memphis spot here, right? This should be a Memphis spot. Ja should be able to go over on his points, and the rest of the team go under on their points. So the only way I would play it is to either look at props, see what points kind of seem a little too high for me and smash the under for them, or just look at Ja's points, maybe it's PRA, smash the over and forget about it. But as far as the side or total on this game, 247.5 is a lot. It's a lot, but can they do it? Of course, it's the Pacers. So the only way I could look at this game is Memphis Grizzlies winning this game outright. So maybe look at Memphis money line. Don't worry about the 2.5 points. Just pay the extra juice for it, or look at some props.
Ja's points are up to 30. I don't want to mess with Ja coming back, but
yeah,
if we've been talking about value on teams on the second half back-to-back, the market moving 4 to 2.5 on the Pacers. Nobody on the Pacers played more than 28 minutes last night. They did a great job of making sure that they're rested for this game. If I had a free bet, I would take the Pacers because of the market move from 4 to 2.5, but I do not want to get in Ja's way here, and I don't want to back him either and them either here. So I'm sort of betwixt and in between. So I'm going to stay off of this spot. Robert Martin talking about Pacers scored 144. Yeah, but nobody, look, they emptied their bench. They 12 guys deep. I mean, nobody played more than 28 minutes. And we've been babying these players on these back-to-backs, babying them. That's why the first leg of the back-to-backs, you can easily fade teams like we did against the Wolves last night. And then on the second half, maybe you should back them. And we'll get into that Wolves spot in a second. Let's move on. No official action for you then there, Darryl?
Yeah, no, let's get a larger sample size with Ja back in the game. I mean, if you're just looking at numbers, Grizzlies 1-11 at home, right? Looking at the simulation site right now, they have Memphis Grizzlies 118, Indiana 119. So well under the under, and Pacers went outright.
Let's move on to Orlando Magic at Milwaukee Bucks. You have the Magic on the second half of a back-to-back, suffering their third straight loss last night, 115-106. That was another spot where the market really helped get me off of Orlando. And then that same unbelievable winning streak. Not necessarily a streak, but of teams just delivering without their star players in the lineup. You have the Bucks winning basketball games right now. They played last on Tuesday, beating the Spurs 132-119. The issue here also is that the Magic beat the Bucks badly in Orlando. Back
Revenge.
on Remembrance Day, 112-97. So you can imagine that the Bucks are going to want to send a message. This team running the fifth fastest offense in the NBA over the last 5 games, 104.33 possessions a game. Orlando playing slow, 2-3, 96.80 possessions a game. And here on the second half of back-to-back. So let's set this up here. We have, first off, this Slow-Mo Joe and Suggs are game time decisions. Obviously, Jalen is very important. Fultz out, which makes Jalen even more important. Harris also out. For these Bucks, Giannis Antetokounmpo game time decision, and Crowder is out.
I think Giannis is going to play. That's why the number moved up initially. But I'm saying right now that line is 8.5.
Well, it's 8.5 at some books. Others have moved it to 9. This opened up at 8 and it dropped to 7 quite quickly. It's back at 8.5. So that move at 12:27 from 7 to 8.5 had to be Giannis is good.
Yeah, that was the Giannis news. But now with it going back up, that's telling Giannis is playing. He's definitely playing.
Agreed. This total is at 237.5. It opened up at 239. Same thing with the Giannis news. It dropped down to 236.5. And then when he looks like he's going to play, I think, jumped up to 237.5. So that's the situation. Let's take a quick look at the cash flow and then watch our guy Darryl roll. So from a cash flow perspective, 40% of the tickets and 72% of the cash on the Orlando Magic. Line's not moving towards them. Maybe you could say it's not a market-related move. It's just a player personnel move. And 77% of tickets, 89% cash on the over. Take it away for us here, Darryl. Bucks at home to the Magic.
Yeah, man. You ready for this? Are you ready for this? Super deep dive of an analysis here. Are you ready for this? Give me Milwaukee Bucks first quarter minus... I don't give a motherfucking shit what the spread is.
You ready for this? Here's my analysis. I don't give a fucking shit. I don't give a fucking shit. So yeah, I don't give a fuck. I don't give a fuck. I don't give a fucking shit. I don't give a fucking shit what the spread is.
Ooh, take it away.
Yeah.
I don't give a fucking shit what the spread is. Play of the day. First quarter, Bucks. Take it away.
Yeah, man. So there's a rap artist that I like, man. I used to not like him. I thought he was a cornball in the beginning, and then he's finally matured and coming to his own. Lil Yachty. So I wasn't a big Yachty fan back in the day. He had a couple of songs, man, that I liked that kind of got some rotation.
Broccoli? Who doesn't like broccoli?
Yeah, man.
Who could listen to that song and be like, I hate this music. Turn off. That's like the feel-good song of the decade.
I'm telling you, man, he's had some hits, right? Now, I'm a big Yachty fan, bro. I'm a Yachty fan right now. He's matured and he's grown into his own. And you're asking me, Darryl, what the fuck does this have to do with basketball? Absolutely nothing. Absolutely nothing. Reason why I'm saying that is he's got a group out that he's signed called the Concrete Boys, right? And that is exactly what Milwaukee is going to stump Orlando into the concrete in the first quarter. What they're doing right now in the first quarter is absolutely crazy. Last 3 averaging 40 points. Bucks are kindly demolishing teams right now in the first quarter. I saw a comment in a lot of sense. The Magic have kind of regressed as of late. So looking at the numbers right now, Orlando, man, 23rd in the league, averaging 26.3 points a game in the first quarter right now. Milwaukee Bucks comfortably sitting 5th in the league, averaging 30. So their averages are already there, right? But last 3, 40 points. Last one, 44 points. When I see numbers like this, I'm like, let me step all over it. 9 times out of 10. I'll give you maybe 8, 7 times out of 10. This is going to hit. So I like where Milwaukee is. We talk about the revenge angle as well. They're just gelling. You got them at home also. Milwaukee, 8-1-1 last 10 first quarter ATS. 8-1-1. So when I see an Orlando Magic team that is going one direction, going down, and when I see one team in the Bucks going another direction, which is up, this is the perfect time that I like to hit them. Give me Bucks. I believe that number is -3. I got it at -3. Bucks minus. I don't give a fucking shit what the spread is first quarter.
I respect it. I do care what the spread is, though, and you have options. Do you want that 3, or do you want the 2.5? We give you the 3 at -104, the 3 with almost no vig, or the 2.5 -115.
I took the 3, so I always try to play what I've played. But if you got a 2.5, take that also. But I would jump on that. I don't care. This is one of these. This is the type of game to where you see what the line is, -8. I wouldn't be surprised if they were up 8 points in the first quarter. So yeah, I took the 3. 2.5 is fine too. But this is just a game where I think Milwaukee is going to get them early, get them often. This is definitely a trifecta here, but just depending. I mean, this game can get out of hand really, really quick for the Orlando Magic.
Do you want, for our record-keeping purposes, the 3 or the 2.5?
2.5.
All right, so that's a -115 at Heritage, 116 at Pinnacle. We have Adam Beck saying it's available here at Bet365. I didn't know that, so let me just jump over there very quickly and see what they're offering that first quarter at, and it is at, oh, wow, 2.5 -110. Good call, Adam. Wow.
Nasty
Wow,
hating on Yachty, man. No, you can't hate on Lil Boat, man. If you ever get the chance, Nate, there's this cat, Gabe P. He hosts On the Radar on YouTube, and there's a cypher session. There's a freestyle session with him and the Concrete Boys, and bars. I was like, okay, he's grown up a lot, and they've got this lady on there. Her name is Caribou, spitting. So if y'all got a chance, watch that, man. And that's exactly what's going to happen to Orlando. They getting stomped into the concrete on today. Trust.
We move on to the next spot on the board, 8 p.m. Eastern. Los Angeles Clippers, 16-10, 5-7 on the road at Oklahoma City Thunder, 17-8, 9-4 at home. We're at Paycom Center, Oklahoma City, Oklahoma. Clippers running hot, haven't lost in the last 5. Oh, that's the stretch we're talking about for pace. 99.50 possessions a game. That's 16th in the league. OKC running 4th fastest, 104.42 possessions a game. Clip show come in off that 120-111 win last night at Dallas. It was impressive. Now their 3rd game in 4 nights, their 4th game in 6 nights. Tricky spot for an aging Clippers basketball team against a young team with a ton of legs, coming off beating Memphis back on Monday, 116-97. Huge rest advantage for Thunder. Let's line in this line history and hand it over to Darryl. First off, George, game time decision. That's about the only issue. No issues over at OKC. Really, there are some issues, but none on here on the board. Let's go into the line history here from a full game look. We have Oklahoma City at -5. There are some 4.5s on the boards, 4.5 at Pinnacle. This opened up at 4.5 and hasn't moved. Opened up at 4.5, hasn't moved. 7 cents of juice, but hasn't really moved. From a total perspective, we are sitting here at a 237. It opened up at 235.5. It's gone up a 1.5. And then from a cash perspective here, we have past it. Here we go. From a cash flow perspective, we have 65% of the tickets and 93% of the cash on the Thunder. 93% of the cash on the Thunder, and the line's not moving. And then 33% tickets and 78% cash on the under. Another tricky spot here on the board. Take it away for us, Darryl. Clippers, Thunder.
Jay, you got to help me with this. This one's hard. This one is hard. And the reason why is you've pretty much already touched on it. You got a young team that has the legs right now. They've got the rest. So when you're talking about a team that's had time to prepare, look at the scouting report and game plan, OKC has had it, right? And then you got another team, experienced, older, but they're just tearing through the league right now. 9 straight wins, 9-1 in their last 10, right? Put up 151 points on the fucking Pacers, right? I mean, they're not just beating teams, man. They are convincingly beating teams. And I mean, is this Toronto Kawhi or is this San Antonio Kawhi? I don't know, man. But what this guy is doing is absolutely amazing to me. I mean, for a minute, we were talking about this guy just fleecing the league for a paycheck because he would not play. And now he's going off on back-to-backs, saying that he feels great. So this one was hard for me because which one weighs more? Do you take the rested team, right? Or do you take the team who's finding ways to win? And so I don't know which way to look at this team. And I feel like OKC should win this game. I really do. But do you get in front, or what's the terminology you use? Do you catch a falling knife here? Right? I mean, are we going to get in front of how well the Clippers have been playing? They played Dallas. They played Indy. They played the Knicks. They've played Sacramento. They've played Denver. And they beat them all. Convincingly beat them all. So could OKC get ahead of this game? This is another one here. Looking at the simulation report, OKC 118, Clippers 114. So we already have a sharp line by the simulation site that's had these numbers out since last week. Right? So when I see that 4 there, and I'm already seeing a 4.5, that looks sharp to me. But I don't want to be that guy to step in front of a moving train just yet. Right? So it seems like it could be a Clippers spot, or excuse me, a Thunder spot. It's a bad spot for the Clippers, in which they're playing OKC with all of this rest and time to prepare. But the Clippers is just playing some amazing ball right now. And do you want to get in front of that? I'm not sure. So for right now, no play for me. This was a hard game.
Yeah, I don't. Vibes look on the under. I get, but the fact that it's not moving is extremely confusing.
With all that money coming in on OKC.
And no one has a problem with Spurs and Raptors Kawhi. It's Clippers Kawhi. That's the problem.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. That I'm telling you though. But he's playing like Spurs Raptors Kawhi. I mean, this guy is just playing lights out ball right now, man. And so do we get in front of that? Just look at some trends right now. Clippers 5-4 ATS in first quarter. So it's not like they're dominating first quarters, right? Thunder 6-4 last 10 ATS first quarter. You know, I like to look at how teams come off right to the gate. So if I'm thinking how this game would go, I feel like you could take the Clippers late and OKC early. You're talking about more a script and more time to game plan that's going to be on the Thunder side. I believe the Thunder might have a better script in the beginning of the game. They already are third in the league when it comes to first quarter ATS. They're over 500 when it comes to the last 10. And so OKC might have that edge in the first quarter, first half, but then this game could go any other way second half. So I don't know.
Oliver Page on the Clips first half, on Polo on the Clips +5. At this point, Jarek White, just George is the game time decision. Let's move on to 9 p.m. Eastern, and we just heard from Sammy Comer. LeBron James will not be in the lineup for the Lake Show at the Timberwolves. Lakers 15-13, 5-10 on the road at Minnesota. Timberwolves 20-6, 11-1 at home. We're at Target Center, Minneapolis, Minnesota. Lakers 1-4 over their past 5 on a 3-game losing streak. Playing at the pace, 8th fastest, 102.2 possessions a game over that stretch. Minnesota 3-2 over those 5. Oh, Lucky Lefty. Nice, man. Respect. Lucky Lefty. My bad, man. I didn't, my bad. Lucky Lefty in the house. Long time. OG low bagger. Minnesota 3-2 over their past 5, playing a pace 100 possessions a game, 14th fastest. Let's get into the line history, and we can imagine that there's been a big market move here. And let's see if we can see it. At Pinnacle right now, we moved 3 minutes ago. I guess the move started 12 minutes ago. So it moved to 7.5, and now that 7.5 is at +104, which means their 8s are coming very soon. Going to have
very
8
soon
here on the board. From a total perspective, they're still sitting at 225. 223.5. Just got updated. 223.5. It moved. So this move was also in the last 15 minutes. I like the way the Lakers play without LeBron. You know, I do. I've not. I'm not saying any crazy stuff like they're better without him on foot. I just kind of like it. It seems refreshing a little bit, and ball moves around. Not that he's a selfish player or anything like that. I don't tie too much into this, but I was impressed with the way they played against the Spurs without LeBron, and then with them. I mean, maybe that's too much in my head. Let's take a look at the cash flow then, and the cash flow is not really going to help. I don't want to get too tied into it. 69% of tickets, 86% of cash on the Timberwolves. 40% of tickets and 69% cash on the under. I tell you, my initial feeling is to wait and see how high this number gets up and take the Lakers.
It's not going to go higher than 8. It's not going to go higher than 8, 8.5. I promise you. I'm more than certain that number was already baked in to LeBron sitting. I don't think it's going to get higher than 8.5.
Oh, maybe not, but it couldn't be fully baked in because we watched it go from 6.5 to 7.5 as soon as the move was announced. Now 6.5 really to 8. Maybe we're talking about your Los Angeles Lakers, and our guy Nutflush Allen says that you're his favorite guy and that he can't.
Nutflush, you're going to give
so
me
excited.
shit, man. Fuck a goddamn celebration parade, Nutflush. Come on, man. What are
He's
we doing?
so excited about the championship parade. So. BJ says, like you're saying, shit without Braun, backwood. Let's hear what Darryl thinks about this spot. Coyd said he could only look at LA here. Of course, Timberwolves on the second half of a back-to-back. We all got paid fading them yesterday. The question is, what do we want to do here? Both teams were on the back-to-back, and both teams lost in disappointing fashion. Take it away, Darryl.
Yeah, I'm not stepping in front of Minnesota at home. I'm not doing that shit. You got me fucked up if you think I'm gonna step on. No, man. I don't have any look on the Lakers right now. I mean, you can't lose to the Bulls. Sorry ass Bulls. This team makes runs. The only thing I could say the only thing I would say do here is this, because it is going to happen. I see it happen just about every time with the Lakers. Take Minnesota early. Look at them second quarter. Let that lead get up to about 20 and then smash the Lakers, because the Lakers will come and make a run. But this is the type of game, honestly, I promise you, dog. This is the type of game where I don't even think the Lakers will ever have the lead. Ever. I don't know how to gauge this team at all, but I'm smart enough to know not to put my money there. Right. And so when I see them lose, I mean, it's depressing. It's depressing looking at how good this team should be. And I mean, you lose to Chicago, bro. They put up 124 points on you. You lose to New York. They put up 114 on you. You lose to San Antonio. They put up a $130 on you. You know what I'm saying? So you lose to Dallas. That's a close game, 127-125. You're not playing LeBron here at all. Now, the reason why you might like people playing or the team playing without LeBron is because they booty cheeks is less tight, man. They don't got to worry about making these kind of mistakes that they were making, LeBron talking shit on them or not feeding them the ball. Everybody doesn't play as loose when they play LeBron in the tight game. They just don't want that they don't like that type of energy, man. LeBron is a perfectionist. He's a great player, and he's going to demand that you know what the schemes and the actions that you need to get in, when to help on rotations and all that. But when you don't have him on the court, then yeah, man, your booty cheeks is not as tight, bro. And that's how it is. So I saw somebody say Lakers plus 6.5. Well, good luck, man. I'm not playing this game. But this is a game that I am going to watch. As bad as they're playing these last 3 games, I am going to watch this game. And it's one of those things to where it's like, if they win, it's like typical Lakers shit. Typical Lakers shit. It's like the curse of California altogether. It's like you lose the games you're supposed to win and win the games you're supposed to lose. I saw this with the Chargers in this whole Brandon Staley era. So I'm glad he's gone. But all in all, this is a game that I will not be playing. I will look at some numbers. What do they have D'Lo's threes at right now?
I'll check right now. We had
Torian and Cam Reddish.
I'll grab that right now. We had Nutflush ask about the team total for the Lakers. Right now at Pinnacle, it's 108.5, heavily juiced to the under, minus 119 to the under. From a player prop market here, they're going to be I guess they haven't changed too much since the announcement. Oh yeah, they have. They're Pinnacle's only giving you AD props. They're gonna have to kind of reformat the game here with no LBJ on the floor.
Yeah, tell
Let's
him,
see what-
BJ. They're not listening, man. He has a good comment. You guys are crazy to bet the Lakers right now. And no LeBron.
Oh, we have threes here at 365.
Okay. What do you have?
We have. Oh no Lakers. Only Timberwolves.
Okay. That's what I thought. Okay.
All right, let's move on. I do have some interest in Lakers, but I'm not going to force it here and see how high it goes up. It's at 8 right now at 365. Let's talk about the last spot on the board. I need to have action. Can't just be football and hockey tonight. 10 p.m. Eastern. Washington Wizards 4-22, 2-14 on the road at the Portland Trailblazers, 7-19, 3-9 at home. We're at the Moda Center in Portland, Oregon. We have Wright, Shamet, Davis out. Nothing's changed for Washington, and nothing really changed for Portland. Shaden Sharp out of the lineup. Let's get into the X's and O's here. Blazers snapped their losing streak with that 109-104 win at home over Phoenix on Tuesday. Wizards last played on Monday, losing to Sacramento 143-131. It was an important win for the Blazers, who've been playing a little bit, I guess can't say it's a little bit better ball when they lose 7 straight. But this is the 5th game of a homestand. You guys know how much I talk about the 4th game of a 5-game homestand or the 5th game of a 6-game homestand. I mean, it was there put on a tee for you here with their win over the Suns, 109-104. Simons went for 23, 8 and 15 boards. And I don't like the final game of a homestand here. So let's take a look at the line history here for this one. Our final game here on today's show. Don't forget, in 39 minutes, we have the Cappers contest show. Right now, we have Portland -4. They opened up -4 at 109. They got down to 3.5 for a bit. They're back at 4, -111. 2 cents of movement towards the Blazers. From a total side of things here, we're dealing with a 239.5. This opened up at 241, dropped down to 239.5. So we have a little bit of move to the under. Let's take a look at the cash flow here. 58% of tickets and 57% of cash on the Wizards. And the line's not moving. 75% tickets, 94% cash on the under. I was hoping that I was going to come on here and see, 60% of the 70% of the tickets on the Blazers and 55% of cash, something like that. I'm a little surprised that the Wizards are being publicly backed here, but I do have interest in them. I do think that the issue with Portland about to hit the road here. Where do they go? So let me just grab where they're off to next. They head off to Golden State and then right back home for 3. Take it away for us here, Darryl. Wizards, Blazers.
Yeah, same scenario here. Wizards first quarter right now, man, they are pretty much up there. They're over 500. Last 10, they're 6-4 first quarter ATS. Portland dead last. Last 10, 4-5-1. Right now, scoring wise, Wizards are comfortably sitting kind of at the bottom. 27.8 points average in the first quarter. Portland, 26.6. In the last 3, though, Washington has gone up 2.2 points, averaging 30 points in the last 3, while Portland has gone down to 27.3. There was something that was really true about Washington on last year, and that was you take their first quarter over. For whatever reason, they just scored a lot of points in the first quarter. Right now, how it looks as far as their over-under, they're not up there like the Pacers and the Hawks, but I believe this is a spot here to where you could take them first quarter because of how bad Portland is in the first quarter. And so it just goes along the lines of how I look at in cap games. When I see numbers that are going in different directions, I tend to think that's a high percentage play. And that's what you have here with the Wizards versus the Blazers here. On top of the rest, on top of Portland being a terrible first quarter shooting team, this is a spot to where you could look at the Wizards and make some money. So I've already stepped on Wizards +1 at -105 for the first quarter. I didn't go money line here, but I do believe Wizards just win this game, win this first quarter outright, just based upon how the numbers are. So Wizards first quarter +1, I believe that is a solid play. I'm really confident about these first quarter plays today because these are the spots that I like to see teams in right now. And this is another one here. I'm going the Washington Wizards route. Give me first quarter, Wizards +1. I do like the spot.
I'm very interested in backing the Wizards full game here, plus the points. Let's review all action in NBA. I don't know if I take the Pistons at the ass end of this line. I'll have to make this decision. I'm certainly not going to take the Pelicans at the ass end of the line. But the Pistons I do have interest in. Justin McElvey got the Pistons -103. TJ got the Pistons +1.5. Darryl gets his card started with the Spurs first quarter +2 at -108. He also took him first quarter -1 at +170. Pacers, Grizzlies, we stayed off. I don't give a fucking shit what the spread is play today. Bucks first quarter -2.5, -110. Why would Bet365 be giving you a 2.5 on that? That does seem to make sense. It's just the only problem is about how bad the Magic played last night. You got to think the Bucks are an angry group, except they're kind of fat and happy a little. But they remember what happened. Now it was 5.5 weeks ago, but Magic did beat Bucks by double digits at home. Clippers, Oklahoma City, no action. I'm not sure what to do with the Lakers. You know what? If I ended up just on the Wizards, I think I could handle that. Don Play saying 150 on Kansas State -5.5. I like that look. I'm going to be double dipping on that spot. Now Billy Friedrich's on the first half. Shocker. So I will spend a little bit more time deciding whether I move on the first half too. But really, I only have 34 minutes for me. I'd like to get most of my action in that I haven't bet already, which is just a couple bets in NHL. I did get the football game. Did that move to 3.5 here? I know that's not the number that scares. No, it's still 4. It's still a clean 4 at Bet365. I heard there's 3.5 in other spots. All right. So Nunya said, listening for Jimmy and Darryl's best NBA bets if he does anything. Well, the best bet for Darryl's, I don't give a fucking shit what spread is play today. That's Bucks first quarter -2.5. He's also on the Wizards first quarter +1 at -101. Darryl, excellent work. Excellent work this year. And you've led me to a great start to the year as well. 13-9, 59.1% for Darryl, +3.28 units. ROI +14.91%. Average line +100. Darryl, we will be rocking next Thursday here on the 28th. If you're available, we're going to be in business. We're not taking any days off. We'll be here Wednesday, Thursday, Friday of next week. And we're also doing the Bankroll Blitz on the Tuesday as well. And we're doing NFL Pub on New Year's Eve as well.
Yeah, man. Well, if I don't see you before then, man, may you and yours have happy holidays. Merry Christmas to you. Hope you get the kids everything they want. And I feel good about these looks today. I really do. I believe this is a 4-0 day. This is the first sweep that I'm looking for. I feel it in my bones, man. Peace and love to everybody in the chat, man. May y'all all have a great, great Merry Christmas. I hope you get what you want and more, man. And let's bring this new year with a bang. Love y'all.
We love you, Darryl. Please follow Darryl on X at It's Darryl. Let's review one last time all the action here for today. Jose, it would be great if you jump on with us as we put a bow on this. Coming off a 5 and 3 day up 1.8 units, which was desperately needed off of the debacle of the weekend, and then 0 and 3 on Tuesday in NHL. It's just a horror show for the last little while. So let's review all action here. So for Gogster's NHL action, I'm going to go back to his site because he had a lot of action that he had already tweeted out, and I didn't copy and paste it all. Let me grab that for you. So this is Gogster's action. Gogster's on a moneyline parlay with the Leafs and the Panthers at +158. Jose, nice to see you. How are you, my friend?
Doing all right. How are you?
I am good. We have our Cappers contest show. Was that news to you that we went 0 and 5?
It was. I had no idea. I had the record, but yeah, we're at 38, 36, and 2 now, I believe.
Yeah, it doesn't matter what we are. Doesn't matter what we are anymore. All that matters is the Cappers contest. We want to get the cash up there, our Cappers contest. So now, and we need to cap the card together and get paid together. So there's lots of. I still love the show, and it's okay. We had 15 glorious weeks, Jose.
Yeah,
and that's if that's what we get every year, I'll be more than happy. It's great. We also have a big playoff NFL pool that we're going to be dropping here in the next few days. So. A lot of fun. It's still. I have no problem with what's happened here. We fell apart late. That'll happen. Gogster's on the Tampa Bay Lightning. That was an addition for him at -110. I'm going up against them with the Knights in the under 6.5, but I'm waiting for the goaltender to be announced. Blues, Panthers, nothing here for the parlay for a Gogster. Gogster's on the Flyers, team total under 2.5 at +136, and he's on Nashville Predators. I'm on Nashville Predators as well. We're going right into the teeth of the spreadsheet play today from Ron Crawford, who's on Philadelphia -123. I'd like to add the Philadelphia team total under 2.5 as well. Hurricanes, Penguins, Gogster's on Carolina money line in the under 7.5 at +135. Then Washington, Columbus. Gogster's on the first period under 1.5 at +112. And the gift is the Jackets. The gift last night was the Capitals, the cash in overtime, and the Jackets. I get it, but something concerns me with them scoring 18 goals in the last 3 games. Are they going to be able to turn it on again? Something concerns me. I love the Oilers. I got him at +105. I love the spot. Love it. And for Gogster, he's on the first period. Both teams score +120, and both teams score 3 goals at +110. Canucks Stars. Gogster's on the over 6.5 at even money. I'm on the Montreal Canadiens. I got +175. That was down to +158 or something last we looked. I'm not sure what it is right now. Ottawa, Colorado. Gogster's on first period. Both teams to score +140, and we laid off the 2 late games. Then I moved on the Saints +4. It's still available right now. I bet 365 +4. Ragoo's on the over 46, and Gogster is a same game or a parlay. He's on the Saints +7.5, the over 40.5, second half Saints +7.5. And Kyron Williams over 75 rush yards. Then in college football, we had Big Ragoo give us USF team total over 26.5. USF first half money line +127. He gave us the over 66.5 in UCF Georgia Tech, and he gave us James Madison -1.5. Then Dave is on Quinnipiac -3.5. I heard they were looking good early. Richmond -15.5. If Richmond hadn't been handling these double-digit dogs so easily, I think the sharp money on the Bulls, the move 1.5 points towards them is very appealing, but I don't know if I want to put my money against Dave's there. And he's on the over 140.5 in Hofstra, UNLV running Rebels. Daby Cab swept the board yesterday 4-0. He gave us Kansas State full game -5. I really want in on that. I want a double up spot there. Then we just went over NBA. That is our show for today. Jose, what is new your end? So after the show yesterday and all the fat face comments, you went to the gym?
Yeah, I did. Yeah.
Did that inspire you to push harder? Was it like
No, I go to the gym. I want to kill myself constantly. I hate it. It's 45 minutes of hell. But I did go to the gym and then realized that I completely fucked Mike's time up yesterday. I thought it started at 5:30 Central, started at 5. So that was a great time. Had a little bit of a panic. So good times all around, but it's going to be fun. Fatty's here, everyone. It's nice to see everyone. But we have Cappers Contest show in 28 minutes. 28 minutes. Stick around here, and you'll just get kicked over there. Members only, obviously. So guys like Jarek White and Andrew G can't join us. You sons of bitches. Join the Pub Members Club today. Like we said, join the club. You'll get a little bonus when Pubapalooza comes. There'll be some member things there, Pubapalooza. So join up. It'll be a lot of fun.
You are getting a lot of nice things from the chat. Jarek White says that your face looks slimmer today.
Thank you. Yeah, I again, maybe it was me being diseased. Who knows? I don't know. I was a fat ass yesterday, apparently. Maybe I just fluctuate in weight that much. But yeah, I'm going to the gym right after the Cappers Contest show. And I have just comments. I have Nunya's, I think, was it Nunya? Or no, it was Mally Mal. I have his comment that I just posted on my wall. Jose's eating good, calling me a fat ass. So I'm ready to go. I obviously also have Troy Torrance's face on a dartboard as well. Because I'm coming for his ass on Pubapalooza Day. So it's going to be fun.
Big shout out to our guy Nunya gifting a Pub Sports Radio membership. Don Play getting it. Love that. Thank you, Nunya. You are a good man and a great friend of the show. Well, that is our show for today. Jose, we've got stuff to do here. 27 minutes before the Cappers Contest. Could you please go ahead and could you bless our action and leche us into the future?
I will. That Lakers Spurs bet's gonna be talked about for you for a while now. This is the second straight show.
17 straight show.
I appreciate it.
It's impressive.
We did cash with the Capitals last night. Shout out to the Capitals as well. But I did promptly lose it on Sacramento because I bet on them live, and I was on that bandwagon with everyone. But I admittedly did laugh, watch the Celtics just blow their asses out, and then we're gonna do that to the Lakers on Christmas Day. It's gonna be a whole lot of fun. But everyone, Go get your bets in, get ready, go get your smokes in because we're live here in about 20 minutes for the Cappers contest show. So leche, los bookmakers.